The Middle Ages, they were owned by kings and queens, earls and counts, barons and lords, tsars, dukes, duchesses, countesses, baronesses, archdukes, who had their knights and templars working at their police schools for them, controlled the sheepfold. Just as it is today, nothing has really changed. Oh, does anyone think they just disappeared like that? They were parasiting other people and the workers who had to give taxes and percentage of wheat, vegetables, and cattle. Many times the sheepfold starved to death in winter after that harvest. While these parasites and pharaohs were partying in the harvest, drunk of the wine they had stolen, bellies well fed, robbed food that should have been for all those hungry children. And they had their bells almost with young virgins of the sheep, usually either noctus, what is precise, what is tenure, or first right, allowing these parasites to grab the newly wed bride on the very night of her wedding to come and lay with the Lord and Master, thus spreading the pharaonic genetics all over. As the word pharaoh etymologically derives from two demotic words, pharaoh and ark, meaning the big house. The big royal house of the pharaonic royal bloodline. Here's my dear friend, William Morgan, 1776, so cleverly discovered that Genesis actually means Eve of Isaac, and Geneva in the Octagon base, Eve of Eve, being one and the same one. I'm so glad my people are getting smarter than me, so I can retire soon. Because these pharaohs never disappeared, the nobility never lost their power either. The word aristocracy is pharaonic. Aristocracy. Ar means big or pregnant, and the P means the sun, meaning sun, come from the sun. This is Aryan, the Indo-Germanic nobility and upper class. Aryan is from on, as an aristocracy, which means that those who came from the sun with their blue blood and all their ruling, and they still lose. Don't be mistaken. Here at the royal hall, well, Pharaoh, what it say. Today, children disappear and get rape, torture, sacrifice, and murder in castles like LMAO in Belgium and Sotou in Luxembourg and many other places in Bohemian Grove by very organized gangs like the Coup gang and by Bohemian whose name indicates to deliver the king for the need of what? Without children in this case. Nobility always were Satanism rather than mystical practices of their pharaonic ancestors, their ritual child sacrifice. They always did and they always will, protected by their knights, police, and authorities. In the 18th century, there was Mahida Sudden, where the word sadism actually comes from. So I don't have to tell you what his favorite pastime hobbies were about. Napoleon Bonaparte finally imprisoned in prison for 10 years after his arrest in 1801. He died in 1814. Prince Charles publicly admitted in 2011 that he's a descendant of the Prince of Wallachia, born Latin and Apul, a tailor of Transylvania, as we know him. He lived from 1431 till 1476, and his favorite hobbies were torture and impaling. Impaling means having implanted a stick of yours coming out from the mouth and then set up in the ground vertically, being his interpretation of crucifixion. I look at the eight-pointed star on his forehead. That's up for one. Right? Ability. They did this to 100,000 people, mostly Saxons, and even the Ottomans, because they armed turned around and went back when they came to a forest of 20,000 entails. From 1730 to 1801, we had the Russian nobility under the Tsar, the Dacia Nikolayevna Savkova, torturing and murdering at least 200 people. This is nobility. They always did it, and they never stopped doing it. In 1560 to 1614, Countess Elizabeth Bartoli of the Hungarian nobility, also called the Blood Countess, tortured and murdered 650 virgins of Christians. Because she believed that bathing in the virgin blood would keep her young forever. She and her fellow aristocrats even constructed an ingenious metal structure in which a victim could bleed to death, still being alive and sadistically tortured on the way. So this is the counterpart of the royal authority of the blood countess. Ex-President Sarkozy of France comes from the Hungarian aristocracy, being related to the blood countess. As the pharaoh of Tsar in his name means king in devotion. This is the blood castle, which was imprisoned in 1610, only because the sheeple started an uprising after 650 of their virgins disappeared. So it took the sheeple 650 victims to act. How difficult. The American sheeple is even more. 3,000 victims sacrificed at 9/11 for another district. That's still counting. The Americans act big, martial, and spontaneous at the shooting range with the best goodies can imagine, waiting those to be hauled off for the slaughterhouse without ever having used their goodies. And watch here, we can see the airplane going through concrete and steel and coming out on the other side. By every increasing sacrifice to keep the former in growth. Stay down. Down right now. Sit down on the ground. Here we go. You're lucky. God gave you two. Wow. You gave me plenty of opportunity to get the dog there. I just about shot the damn dog. Came this close to freaking shooting it. You need to control that thing. Like Charlie, everybody's so for them. Get over that. Sit down. You guys need to control that dog. You know that, right? I don't care. And guess what? It could help you too. Okay, well, we did it. What's going on today? Hey, Sam. What do we? What's going on? No, just sit. Just sit down. Sit. Where's Jennifer at? Sit. We're going to stay right here, sir. No, I'm not. Sir, ma'am, you're detained right now. You hear me? Hey, have a seat. How am I detained? Have a seat. Have a seat. Sit down right here. Sit down. What's going on? We should stop running. Okay? We'll come back on your head. Stop. What's going on here? Nothing? Were you guys fighting? No. Where's the thing for that? I don't know. Here's the thing. When I get here, I hear her yelling at you to get out of the house. She comes through the door, and then you grab her and pull her away from the door. No, man. I'm trying to okay. No. I could have shot your dog at the door when you came at me and bit at me. He could have shot your dog there. We're not talking about the dog anymore. Do you understand? Yeah. Oh, I'm not trying to talk to y'all, man. But where's my dog, man? Your dog's gone. We're not talking about the dog. Are you going to talk to me about what happened in here? Yeah, absolutely. What happened in there? I'm not trying to do nothing in there. Everything's fine. Excuse me? You have your ID on you? What's the problem? I just want to check your ID, make sure you're not related to it. I already told you, I don't know that girl. Okay, you have your ID? Sir, have I committed a crime? I don't know. I don't know if you're related to this person or not. I already told you for a third time, I'm not. Okay, you have your ID on you? Sir, I ain't supposed to refuse to waive my Fourth Amendment right. I have every right to be here. I have every right to video record and take pictures of everything here. I understand that, but until I figure out who that person is and who you are. That has nothing to do with me, sir. No, it doesn't. I don't know that person. Fourth time telling you. Why are you videoing? Because it's my First Amendment right, sir. My First Amendment right, and I am supposed to refuse to waive all my rights. Have your ID. Sir, have I committed a crime? I don't know. Okay, so have a good night, sir. Okay. Parker, let me know. What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge number? Huh? What is your name and badge number? A public official in uniform must ID themselves upon request. All on my uniform. I can't see. I'm asking you what's the name and badge number. So you're a teacher, identify yourself. I'm not a public official. I don't have to. I can't see it, sir. I'm asking you. So you're refusing to identify yourself right now. And it's your policy, it's CNCD policy to identify yourself upon request. You work for CNCD. So it's the policy to identify yourself. Wait, sir. Hang on, I'm going to get that. Our first brandishing button comes to us from Southern California, and a misunderstanding brought to you by Mentos. An Oak City officer in Southern California is caught on camera pulling his gun on a convenience store customer who he mistakenly thought was stealing. This was all over a pack of Mentos that the customer had already paid for. The man says he tried to explain that he paid, but the officer didn't believe him until he paid for it. Wow. This cop pulled his gun on the guy because he thought he was stealing Mentos. Now, here's the thing. Even if you were stealing them, that's not a reason to pull your gun. Like, maybe if the guy was stealing Mentos and Diet Coke, then yeah, that's a potential bomb threat. I get it. You know what you can do with that stuff. Yeah, that's dangerous. But not for Mentos alone. I mean, if this cop pulls out his gun for Mentos, he'll pull out his gun for anything. And even when he goes home, he's probably like, honey, what's for dinner? Whoa, 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 open the oven nice and slow. Nice and slow. Put the meatloaf where I can see it. Now, give me a kiss. No tongue, no tongue. And also, if a guy's willing to go to jail for Mentos, I think that's pretty badass. In fact, it would make a great commercial. Like, the guy would be in jail, like, hey, dude, what are you in for? He's like, I blew up a mine. What are you in for? Me? I'm in for Mentos. The press maker. Now, fortunately, in that instance, no one was hurt. But for groundhog to encounter the cop, your story might not end so well. Also, people in Maryland are upset a police officer shot a groundhog that was apparently trying to block traffic. Yeah, video shows that animal running towards the deputy, which made the deputy think that animal was dangerous. The sheriff's office declined to comment on camera, but sent us a statement explaining the deputy saw traffic stopped on Liberty and White Rock Road, investigated, and found the groundhog blocking traffic. Quote, we realized he was not responding as expected for an animal that was not being cornered or trapped. Get out of here, man. Are you being serious? First of all, white people are calling the cops on groundhogs now? Like, what's next? Sunset? Officer, please, it's getting so dark everywhere. And also, this poor groundhog. He was just 2 weeks from retirement. And now, the worst thing is they shot him, and they acted like it was his fault. Yeah, attacking his reputation. He was not responding as expected for an animal. Oh, I didn't realize there was some sort of police groundhog protocol. Like, what is he supposed to put his hands up? He doesn't have hands! And you can tell the poor little groundhog had no idea what was going on. And the cop was on one side, then he's on the other side. I wouldn't be shocked if the cop was getting competing directions. It's like, get on the road! Don't move! Don't move! Get on the ground! He's like, I am on the ground! I'm a groundhog! I'm off the ground! That's what I do! I'm off the ground! The news is making the groundhog feel like the bad guy.
trying to block the trap. Next thing you use Groundhog's Facebook, finding every picture where you look like a bug. I know how this goes. And in response to this incident, the National Association of Groundhogs just released a statement saying, if this is how humans want to play it, fine, we're bringing back 6 more weeks of winter, bitches. Well, that's all we got time for. Stay tuned for the next edition of Become Cops Before You Judge. It is heart-stopping police dash cam video of a police officer getting into a gunfight with a suspect he pulled over. If you see, it kind of looks like a shootout from the old Wild West. It started as a routine stop for a traffic violation. Then the driver scored completely open, out of nowhere. Check out! Check out! Look at the white SUV heading straight into the tail of a bullet. The driver hightails it out of there. In reverse. The gun battle rigged it. The shooter must think he's in a wild west. Watch as he bolts out of the car and unleashes a barrage of bullets. Another motorist captured the car returning fire. Then the suspect jumps back in his car and steals out of there. How do you do this now? What happens next is a shot. The gunman screams to stop, emerging from the car with his girlfriend. So far, I got a white female just got out. The woman picks herself up. Get your hands up! Who's that with you? Why do you put a gun on me? No. Corporal Brett Thompson is the patient who killed her. I'm going to put you in handcuffs because I don't know what I'm dealing with. Are you okay? Corporal Thompson handcuffs the woman and places her in the freezer. Another officer checks the great Arkansas cop for overthrow. Wow. After fleeing, the suspect got into another gunfight with police in a different town. Eventually, he was apprehended. Now he faces 4 counts of attempted capital murder and a bunch of other charges.
Cybertron Photography was conducting a First Amendment audit of the Weld County public buildings, more specifically, the motor pool parking area. This area contains an auction area for police vehicles, which what people should know is an area where they place their cars for auction. So with that being said, here's Cybertron's video on his detainment for filming in public. Look at that one. Actually, I only see a couple vehicles out there. Maybe one more behind me. There's the bumper. Go look over here. Right over there, that building right there in front of us, guys, is the Weld County Household Hazardous Waste. Oh, this is an auction road. So, I guess all these are right here. But don't they do it all the time? This is the auction row. So one day they're going to auction this off. You ever wonder what a Weld County Sheriff's Officer has under the hood? Or your mechanics don't know what that stuff is. They're going to go upside down, guys. Brown little man. Definitely a work in progress. You know? That's it. Oh, somebody calling me a phone photography. I'm good. Am I being detained or am I free to go? I don't want contact. Thanks. That's Weld County property. There are no signs that says nobody's going to be in that. Your property? Home property. It's owned by the county. Okay? No. Who owns the property? Taxpayer. Just throw me in the damaged vehicle. No. No. 1321-128 says it's still in law enforcement agency. This is part of law enforcement, not. Weld County is owned by what? The taxpayers, thank you. Have a nice day. Woo, here, please don't make a break. Hey, you can see trees blowing. I don't look for contact. Am I being detained or am I free to go? For what crime? Sure. Where is your? Not giving it. 16-3-103. I'll give you my name and date of birth. I don't have my ID on you. My name and date of birth. Give her my plate. I'm doing this under protest. Guys, follow up County Sheriff's Department. Matthew. I went to test the drive and I'm filming them. Showing the records of cars. No. How can you trespass on public property? It's off. I was filming the cars on public property. That's owned by what? Love County? Okay. All this for filming, guys. Matthew. Do I need to give that? I do myself. I lived here for 28 years. You don't, so you're good. It's not. You can't trespass me from public property unless I'm committing a crime. I've got it all live stream. You look up on YouTube. What's that? I'm sorry, I was talking. Okay. Now, once did I go in the vehicle, so I'm going to file a false 911 call. There's a piece of 911. Can I get the name of that for the record? That's your piece. Consider you name of that for the please. Now, in order to be trespassed, you have to be supposed to leave the property first. First off, it's public property. Just come in the wreck. Plus, that last row says off the road, so I think you guys are going to offer that stuff up. It says auction room. His name Robinson? Robinson? I am 1321 128. House Bill 1290, signed into law in 2015 by allowed to use on law enforcement during traffic stops and law enforcement agencies. I'm coming to work today, I saw the wrecked vehicle. That's not what we're going to cover. The county, because the reason says we're by taxpayers. And there has to be. They have to stay restricted areas. There's nothing there to restrict that. Yeah, if you're on public property. I did not go into this. Okay. We'll say somebody still got gas, but here's it. I was commenting in a video about how few crash vehicles are here and how you guys must know how to drive. You know what I mean? And I respect what you guys do. When I look at the response, we're just going in the public. And that's the problem I have. You have to ask the instructor right. But you go inside the photography on YouTube, you can see the whole video slide video. So you can see that there's not any vehicle. In fact, I threw it upside down and got the time to look on, care. What's going to happen? You need to charge. You need to contact the mall. That's what happens. We'd like to write it down. So, for instance, you look at it. What will happen is if you feel like passing, you decide. You might be set up on the stuff. Which is owned by.
So guys, what I just watched, in my opinion, was contempt of cop. And let me explain why.
The entire time these cops were so butthurt, they were all trying to find a way to charge this man with trespass. The first interaction was a complete embarrassment for the cop, so he called his backup friend, and then the second officer rolled up extremely hot, threatening to tase him if he doesn't comply, which to me is sickening. I want to know from all of you what you think of this interaction. Comment down below and let me know. I also want you guys to head over to Cybertron Photography and let me know where you support him by subscribing and liking his videos. Guys, this is a perfect example of why we always say record the police in any situation. If you wish to express your concerns to the department, do so with professionalism. And as always, be safe, be vigilant, and know your rights. What you doing, boy? Turning that gun, they fly through the truck spot. You give a damn who the fuck shot. You with that Can you, excuse me, sir. I'm Jeremy Tyler. Tell me what just happened. What we turned it into. Yeah, and can you tell me about those charges? Because I just recently today read some charges that you filed. Right. Some of it's tough, you know. Some of it's tough. Right. And what you just did now? Right, because some of the charges that you gave earlier on the 20th, I believe, they were had to do with whistleblower act. That you felt like you should stand up and file and come forward with some charges that were that you felt were wrong. Right. So, all right. Well, what are you gonna do from here? What's that?
would pick away because of this, right? Uh, but I think when you're going through life knowing every time you walk out of your apartment building that you might be able to be arrested for something that you don't do, you're so profoundly un-American that you could be arrested for anything at any time. The cop could put drugs on you, you then get on the witness stand in a courthouse and say that you were guilty when you were not. Last fall, last November, 15 men in Chicago came to the courthouse and were exonerated altogether. Their men were all served time for crimes they say they didn't commit. Now the county's top prosecutors agreed with them because of the police investigation. It was believed to be the first mass exoneration in the county. Let's talk about some of the main characters in the story, starting with Ronald Watts. Who is he and what kind of a person? Watts was a sergeant in Chicago Police Department. Their job was to root out the drug trafficking and drug dealing going on in the Ivy Wells homes. What they were actually doing, in fact, what he was actually doing, is running his own sort of criminal enterprise of shaking down drug dealers, shaking down other residents of the project, and demanding money from them, bribes. He was planting drugs, heroin, cocaine, on residents and hauling them to the precinct and then off to jail. When I would ask some of the men who had been arrested by him how they would describe him, some of them would talk about training day, about the corrupt detective. All right, I'm putting cases on all you victims. Huh? You think you can do this shit? I'm calling. I must do it. You just listen. So the story takes place primarily in a housing project on the south side of Chicago that no longer exists. It was called the Ida B. Wells Homes, and it was opened in 1941. It was the first housing project in Chicago that was built specifically for African Americans. It was segregated housing, and at the time was a place of tremendous promise. It really embodied the aspirations of the entire neighborhood. And then over the decades, the Chicago Housing Authority neglected their buildings. The place became incredibly run down. You have graffiti, you have gunshots, you have open air drug dealing. So it's a very, very challenging place to grow up. I think of all the folks that were affected by this corruption, it seems to me that Ben and Clarissa Baker paid the very highest price. Ben and Clarissa are a couple who met in 1990 in night school on the south side of Chicago. He grew up in Ivy Wells homes, and she grew up about half a mile away. She came from a middle class family. Her father was a private detective. And they became a couple, and they had three boys. And she ultimately moved into the Ivy Wells. They really traced their troubles with Sergeant Watts back to 2004, the sergeant asking him for money, and he refused. Ultimately, at the end of 2005, they're driving down the street together into the Ida B. Wells, into the parking lot by their building, and a police officer comes up behind them and another beside them. And here is Sergeant Watts and one of his officers, demanding their keys, demanding that they get out of the car, and searching the whole car. They see Sergeant Watts put his hand inside the door, and as they remember, he pulled out his hand and he said, I got it. Clarissa tells me that she saw something come out of his sleeve. And fast forward several months, then now has two pending drug cases. He goes on trial in Chicago and ultimately is convicted despite testifying in his own defense, despite his lawyer telling the whole story about the bribes and the corruption going on in Ivy Wells, and he's sentenced ultimately to 14 years in prison. And it rips the family apart. From what Clarissa has told me, it sounds like it was so deeply traumatic what happened. And here she is, a single mom with three kids to raise by herself. Because she had been convicted in this case with Ben, she's now a convicted felon, which of course means it's much harder to find a decent paying job. You can't get Section 8, which is a federal rental subsidy. So life just becomes infinitely harder. How was Officer Watts finally exposed? In 2012, when Ben Baker was in prison and had been in prison for some 6 years, one night he's on the cell block, it's nighttime, folks are getting ready to go to sleep, and somebody tell him, turn the TV on, he turns it on, and there's Sergeant Watts sprinting down the street, on the news with one of his officers. As it turns out, Sergeant Watts has been arrested, was in early 2012. He and one of his officers were arrested for what was called theft of government funds. So even after Sergeant Watts went to prison, he was sentenced to 22 months. Ben Baker was still in prison. In 2015, at the same time that there was a lawyer, Joshua Pepper, at the Exoneration Project in Chicago, putting together a petition trying to get Ben Baker out of prison, folks were protesting in the streets. The murder of Laquan McDonald by a Chicago police officer. The videotape had never been released. It was only through the efforts of folks in Chicago pushing very hard to get a judge to order the release of that tape that it was out. And once folks saw the way this teenager had died at the hands of a police shooting, they took to the streets. And that rage and frustration really changed the tone, I think, of the conversation around criminal justice and helped bring in a new state's attorney, a woman named Kim Fox, who ultimately is the person who made the decision about the mass exoneration. We've been talking in the media for years now about wrongful convictions and DNA exoneration. It's only recently that we've begun to talk about mass exoneration, which would be a group of people being exonerated altogether. It's happened in Philadelphia, it's happened in Massachusetts, which has recently had the exoneration of some 20,000 people after it was shown that the chemist in the police lab was with faking lab results, and they had to wipe away all of those convictions. I think what was striking to me about this story is the time that corruption went on, and the fact that so many people didn't stop it. So many different agencies, whether it's the FBI, internal affairs of the police department. What Clarissa said it to me, and everybody knew, but nobody did anything. And I think as a society, we have to be asking ourselves, who do we believe? And I think that's a very, very important aspect of this story.
Shut down in excess of 100. So more sound, all over the room with the don't say something. Oh! We think about people breathe now, right? God damn it. Hey, sit down.
we got to get rid of him. I think he's calling his buddy down here. He's gonna get the same messages his buddy just got. I don't know why they choose that to call me. And I'm doing nothing illegal. Oh, this is dead end though again. La, 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 la. See if I can get my phone together here. So, yeah. Hello, ma'am. How you doing? I'm all right. Thanks for asking. All right, we're gonna head out this way here. Not much in here. If they're still coming out, so I'm gonna head it back out where the cars are parked at. I'll be out that way. Is this the exit here? All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll be out back where the cars are parked. Exit here.
Sure.
Yes.
At this point, I am dictating.
For what reason?
Well, you're either dictating to somebody about you going outside of the parking lot to take pictures.
No, I was talking to you. I said if they're still coming out to talk to me, tell them I'll be out in the parking lot.
Yeah, what's the identification?
I don't have it.
You drive here?
I did.
Okay, how do you go and what do you go out your license?
Put my license on my car.
Okay, so your license is in the car now?
Yes.
So if we get out there, you can produce your identification.
For what crime?
Oh, I can say you committed a crime.
So if I haven't committed a crime, why am I detained?
Because you don't have to stop somebody that's their identification.
So that means I'm not
What you need
detained.
to do later is you need to confer with an attorney or whatever, because I have the right to detain somebody for suspicious activity. And that's what you're doing. Did you reasonably?
It's just memo that was sent out in 2010 and then revised in 2018. You can't use suspicion as a reason to detain a public photographer if I'm committing a crime.
You're a public photographer, and I ask you who you work for. I said you don't work for anybody.
I work for
So
myself.
thank you.
I don't have a reason to do public photography. Is this the sergeant here or?
No, that is.
Yeah, okay, well, can't. Do you understand public photography?
I do.
Can you explain to him that he has no reason to detain me here for public photography?
We have a right to know who we're dealing with.
If I've committed a crime, I
You
have
want
to.
to identify yourself in a public building?
I don't. I'm in a public, exactly. I don't have to.
And I thought myself, trying to figure out who you are, what you need to put the pictures of.
For what reason? I haven't committed a crime. Are y'all gonna question this man? He's done nothing wrong.
I know we will question him if he does the same actions.
So are you saying I committed a crime?
I'm not saying that.
So then why are we talking?
I'm trying to determine what your purpose is.
I told y'all I'm a public photographer.
Building, we're responsible, that's what security.
Security, and I checked through security. I went through security and I checked
But I
through
just think the
security.
people that have come through there also investigate why, what they're doing at this point. This day and age, okay, when the violence has been, and you're taking pictures and videos of everybody.
Like every officer's story plot this day and age. I haven't committed a crime. I've done nothing wrong. I've committed no crime. How is
the
it?
people that do that, they say you committed a crime.
So now you're categorizing me with people. I've done nothing wrong.
No, I'm not categorizing.
But you just said usually the people. I've done nothing wrong. So you can't
No, I
categorize me.
said people in general that come through. That's why we have a metal detector, that's why we have security in this building, to protect the safety of people.
Officer Hill, or how can I address you? I'm sorry.
You can dress me any way you want.
Officer Hill.
That's your right.
Okay, Officer Hill. You keep bringing up this security gate. I passed through this security gate. I did. There's nothing went off. I am completely clean. Why do you keep bringing up this security gate?
What I'm saying is, this is a secure building.
And I went through the security part of the secure building and I had nothing
Here,
on me.
protect the judges and everybody else.
Am I in courtroom?
No, I said if there's a courtroom in there, if you want to go upstairs and take videos of the courtroom and what's going on.
There's no cell phones allowed in courtroom. I understand that. Like, I know what I'm doing. I want to just be out here point this camera and fight what I'm doing. I'm in a public lobby. This is a public building. I haven't went in any security area. I went through security. As you keep bringing up, I have no weapons, no nothing.
No, I said the reason we have this.
And I understand that this is a First Amendment protected activity that I'm doing, and you're detaining me because of me acting in my First Amendment. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because you were confrontational with your.
I'm not confrontational. That's the question I asked you. That's the question I asked you. This is a First Amendment protected activity in a public
So
building.
you drove your car, right?
I did.
So your driver's license is in the car?
Wow. Is there a driver's license in your car?
No, my driver's license is not wrong on that car.
Can I see your license? If you have no legal reason for my ID right now, then I like to see what it's with.
My ID is in my uniform.
Can I
I'm telling you, an officer or an county sheriff's office,
can I see your
that's
ID?
why we have uniforms, to let you know that's who we are.
Okay, but you know what?
That's why I have a name plate, and you call me sergeant, no, it's not your last name.
What is saying my ID is gonna tell you?
When I want to know who you are, what you're doing in the building.
But my ID isn't gonna tell you what I'm doing right now. My ID is gonna tell you my name. That's not gonna be what I'm doing. So you're talking in circles, and I have committed a crime.
Talking in a circle?
Yes.
You
You're.
need to follow the circle.
I am in a circle. This is a lawful activity, and you're stopping me for following the law right now.
I didn't say filming. Okay, your activity, okay, is suspicious.
Did my attorney say to me? I was talking to my attorney. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. No, I'm live streaming, so he's doing that. So you're stopping me.
You're doing this as a test.
No, I'm not. But no. I haven't been confrontational. You asked me a question, I've answered. You're refusing to let me go because I'm doing your First Amendment protected activity. Thank you, sir. Just wasted my time with a complete idiot. God almighty. Thank you. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, man. Golly, that guy there might have been the biggest idiot out here. Is he following me? Yeah, he is. Are you gonna follow me around, sir? Okay. I didn't park here, so if y'all are waiting for that to happen, I didn't park here. Yes, sir. I understand I didn't park. If y'all are looking for like my license plate or something, I didn't park here. It is quite nice. It's a little chilly, but it's nice. It's a lot nicer than where I'm from. So yeah, they're following me, actually. Yeah, so if this goes longer than 10 minutes, I'm gonna have to cut it. And I'll start the second video here. Now, I don't want to reach a distance in my personal space, please. Because if you come too close and you touch me, I say assault. So I would like a little distance, please.
You tell me what this is because he says I'm assault.
No, I said if you come too close to me and I want to touch it, I'm sorry, consensual touch as an assault. Because if I touch you and you don't, that's
I
an
know the
assault.
law,
I understand that. Well, I
listen, for the camera, when you do something wrong, when you violate North Carolina law, I will place you under arrest.
What am I doing wrong?
I said when you do.
So you're gonna follow me and stalk me until I break the law.
No.
Now you're trying to entrap me into breaking the law.
I'm responsible for the property and the security of this building.
So you know this is my property, right? Like I pay taxes on this.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, okay.
So does he, so does she.
Thank you for being professional. Thank you. And thank you, sir. Just I don't understand your reason of employment right now. I don't understand it at all. Absolutely. At all. Yeah. So they're gonna follow me. Well, he is anyway, because he's a public. He says he's gonna wait until I break the law. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna wait until I break the law so he can arrest me.
Yes, you did.
If I break the law?
Yeah,
Tell me things.
North Carolina law.
Oh, really? Well, tell me some things that I could do here that could break the law. Tell me some things, sir. Yeah. Tell me things that you would do. I'm just out here taking pictures and videos because I'm a news journalist and I put together content for a story. As I tried to explain to him in here, but he kept talking over me.
That's the first time you used that terminology.
But I don't have to use that terminology to do what the First Amendment tells me I can do. I don't have to put fancy words together to tell you that this is a First Amendment protected activity. I don't have to explain anything, officer. I don't. That's the law. No. The Constitution tells me and you that the freedom of press. No, see, no, obviously you need to. That's why I'm not in handcuffs because I ain't done nothing wrong. So
what else is it that we can do in 6 years?
Officer, I'll be completely honest with you, and I'm be cordial with you because you've been. I would just like this officer because I feel threatened.
What else can we do?
I would like you to call this officer off, please, because he has no reason to follow me around. If I followed y'all around in public, that'd be harassment.
So you have to like,
and it's funny to you, right?
It is
because you're following me. Before I came into this building, you were inside.
You have the right to be in a public place, but I don't.
Because you're following me here. You were inside. If you wanted to be out here, you would have been out here before I came out here. And I understand that, sir, but he was inside. I show up, I come outside, and he's following me now. He's following me. If you saw me following your wife, would you think that was okay because I'm allowed to be in public? Is that all right? Also, now it's personal things. Now, but see, if I was following your wife or your daughter or your wife, your daughter, you look into that. No, I'm not. Y'all are following me, and then you say, oh, well, this is public, I can be here. Well, if your wife's in public and I follow her, that's nothing wrong, right? Is that
You
wrong?
didn't understand my explanation.
You're following me. Before I showed up, you were inside. Before I showed up, you were content. You were sitting inside. This is public. I came out here, you followed me.
So I
This is
can't
harassment.
public place
All right,
also.
wow.
This is my place of employment. This is
But
where I
you're
work.
following me.
I'm walking the same place.
I
I
did.
have the right to control this area.
You're
That's what I'm doing.
You're following me.
I'm following you?
Yes, you're following me. For what reason? Are you gonna follow me all the way back to my car?
Probably.
Okay, well, that's fine. Well, put your walking shoes on. You gotta go walk. Well, let's take a walk, sir. See you there. He's gonna follow me, and he's gonna not get any information he was looking for. I'm about to cut the live stream. So we're gonna. I'll probably Uber out of here just so he can lose his flight here. Now I cut the live stream, and I'll be back on with y'all in a minute.
You mother! How the fuck are you looking at your phone, officer? You motherfucker. Oh. 396. God damn it. Why are you texting? I don't care if you're texting.
I wasn't texting. I was looking at my phone.
Either way.
Yeah, I know. That's my bad.
Why are you doing that in a turn?
I wasn't paying attention.
Officer, holy shit, dude. Ah. I can walk. How's my arm look?
Your arm's fine.
How about this one?
You're fine.
I need
There's no breaks. That's the only break you got right there.
Got one here. Right. Got band-aids?
Yep, I did.
Garrett fucking T in my friend's crack.
If you're wondering what happened after this, he called in the Missouri State Police because there would be a conflict of interest if he filed his own report. So Troopers Green and Tooth from the state police showed up. They did the accident report. I had paramedics check me out, did a refusal for the ER because I was basically just scraped and bruised. I am feeling incredibly sore right now. I'm going to get checked out by a doctor within the next day or two. And as far as what's going to happen to this local police officer, I don't know. He did have to get breathalyzed and piss tested as part of a procedure. I don't know if any charges or tickets will be levied against him, but that's it for now, and the bike is most likely toast.
I just took my seatbelt off as a habit. Yeah, I just took this off, just so you know, I wasn't driving without it. Just habit. Huh? No, I just took it off. I swear to God, I just have it. Yeah. I wasn't speeding. phone to the other side? No, we're gonna sell it. Yes. It's, no, he's gonna sell it. I'm just test driving it. No, it's of course I'm driving it, so I have to have insurance on it and stuff. Well, right now I'm driving it, so it's not like, do you want me to call my husband? I swear I was running. I haven't. Huh? Okay, but I swear I have. Okay.
Nigga, what? Oh, man. This nigga done beat up the police. Yeah, I needed some good footage. Like the police. Look at this shit. Welcome to Milwaukee, baby. You know how it is when it get warm, nigga, and I'm always on location. Oh no, let me get up off the ride, man. Let me get up. Want to refuse their subject?
It's being redirected to medical care.
And I understand that.
We're not taking you in. Hold on, we're not taking you in.
Listen, it's just my policy. I have to give you this.
It's our policy, we're not gonna accept it.
That's fine.
We're not gonna accept it. We're not accepting anything from the
Listen, they said if you guys refuse, no matter what, that I'm waiting on my sergeant to get up here because this is the first time I've ever dealt with anything like this. That's fine. I don't want them to get me mad at me. But
Well, I'm not mad at you. I'm following our county policy.
that's fine.
Okay. The corrections officer can't control it if medical says no, okay? It's not, he's doing what his boss says, she's doing what her boss says. You see what I'm saying? It's not, nobody's mad at anybody, just gotta get with the procedure.
These stitches do not have the means to stitch up his arm. He has been redirected to a medical facility for stitching. And I have they will not leave the county court. They're demanding that I take this subject in. And I understand that. They're telling me they are. And the CPD sergeant is allegedly on his way. Pardon me? He's refusing to leave the Sally Court. Said that I have to take this inmate. Thank him. You can exit the Sally Court and have nothing else to discuss.
Can I not wait on my sergeant?
No, sir.
Can you call your sergeant and see if you can wait on him outside that door?
He said, don't move. My sergeant said, don't move.
I don't get rid of it.
Here's what we've been instructed.
One moment. Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Mitchell is in Sally Court, and they're saying, he refused to leave, ma'am. He refused to leave. He refused to pull his car forward and leave. Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay. Did you give her that?
I choose not to accept any of my paperwork.
Do you want a copy of this to read? Okay, do you know it's possibly criminal? Just let y'all know. Okay. So we're asking you on this.
What I need to do, sergeant? What I need to do?
Tell exactly what happened. Save your videos. And we'll report it to the video. Like we told you.
What I do again?
What we want, right? Then go right to that.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News at 11.
They sent undercover cameras into dozens of police stations.
We wanted to find out how people would be treated and what the procedures are for filing complaints against police officers.
Our team investigator Mike Kirsch is here now with his investigation into what some might consider police station intimidation.
Police departments around the country, like here in Tallahassee, get citizen police complaint forms all the time, no questions asked. But walk into a police station in South Florida trying to find out how to file a complaint and watch what happens.
Yeah, I wanted to find out how to file complaints, officer. I just wanted to find out how to do it. You just have a form or something that I can take with
So
me.
you gotta tell me first, and then I gotta hear what's going on. You gotta tell me what the complaint is.
Do you have a complaint form that I'd like to fill out or something like that?
Might not be a legitimate complaint.
Who decides that?
I'm trying to help.
Like if there's a form, I can just take it empty, right?
No, you don't need reforms. You tell me what happened, and then I help you from there. You have an idea on
Why?
you know what? You need to leave. You're refusing to tell me what you want to do. Okay, you're refusing to tell me who's involved, where it happened, what transpired. You're not cooperating with me one bit.
I was just asking if there's a complaint form or like if there's some way for me to contact internal affairs. Why are you cursing at me?
Where do you live? Where do you live? Sorry, for You're not gonna tell me where you live, what your name is, or anything like that, right?
Maybe not like, I mean, if I have to,
You're not medication.
why would you ask me something like that?
Because you're not answering any of my questions.
So I'm on medication.
I asked you. Free country, I asked you that.
Okay, you're right.
You're not gonna tell me who you are. You're not gonna tell me what the problem is. You're not gonna identify yourself.
All I asked you was like, how do I contact
You said you had a complaint. You said my officers are acting in an inappropriate manner. Leave now. Leave now.
I'll put it on in the
I'm not doing anything at all. You know what? The free country. Right. Right.
But,
About anything. You can't sidewalk. Free country. Almost that point, you see what happens. Okay, well, one time, see what happens.
yeah, I'm trying to find out how to file complaining to an officer.
What do you work at?
I said he works in this district. I need to work on file.
I'm asking the question, where do you work at? You work here in this district. The answer is you're trying.
My question.
I know. I think you think this is a big conspiracy.
I'm trying to find out how to file a complaint. That's what I'm asking.
If you think you can walk in here and go straight to the director of Metro Dade Police without telling me in detail, you can't do it. And for some reason, you think that. I don't know why. You think it's a big conspiracy that we're gonna hide some information about what happened to you? I don't know. Is it a traffic ticket? Is it something that, disturbed me complaining? What is it? He stole your life money? Did he steal your money? Did he, have sex with your wife? What?
I just want to know how can I go about filing a complaint for the police officer.
Where the incident was featured locally as the
I'm here to complain now. I'm going to make the complaint.
So you guys speak to me, so we can discuss this and see what we can do.
Speak to me about it.
Where did this happen?
Sir,
Please, please, I don't.
We don't give you a report. Where do you live?
I don't really want to say.
You don't want to say?
No.
Where you going? Want to play hard? Want to play hard? I want ID. For what? So you're not asking me for ID right now, right? Here. Hand it to me. Hand it to me. Here. Hand it to me. Are you kidding me? Hand me your ID. Here. I sir, hand me your ID. Hand me your ID. What are you doing here? This is very,
I came to ask you how to file a complaint.
right, and this is very suspicious here.
Asking how to file a complaint is suspicious. Why don't you shut up?
I think this is very suspicious that you pull in here at this time of night. He comes in.
8 o'clock.
You're constantly butting in.
I'm constantly betting in.
Sir, I would like to leave.
I would love it, but he's got your driver's license. So you're just going to have to make
So are you detaining us? Okay, could I give you a ticket right now? Where from or back?
You can do whatever you want to do, I suppose.
Yeah, that means yes, I get a ticket, right? And we're backing up, correct? Yes?
I was backing up, sir, because I was leaving.
There's no way, like, just write it down on something. Like,
Well, first of all, why don't you tell me what happened? And I'll tell you if somebody did something wrong with you.
I know, like, I mean, somebody did something wrong.
Maybe not. Sometimes people don't. Some people think that we're not allowed to do certain things, and we are. Sometimes, some guys take it overboard. They're not allowed to do that.
Right.
I don't know what happened.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to, like, I don't know how.
I tried to help you. Obviously, you got to
I don't have to do that.
The real issue seems to be why can't a complaint form against the police be found seemingly anywhere in South Florida Police Department?
Is there like just a form I can fill out? Is there a form or something? Is there something I can fill out? Just don't have a complaint form.
This hidden camera test was carried out by a police abuse watchdog group called the Police Remarkably, of 38 different police stations tested around South Florida, all but 3 had no police complaint forms.
Is there a form or something? Is there something I can fill out? Just don't have a complaint form or anything like that?
Florida City PD and Homestead PD have them, as did the city of Miami, in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Creole. But Miami Police Chief John Timoney was in no mood to gloat after hearing about the social skills of some cops.
Why don't you shut up?
And the behavior of other police officers would ask how complaints might be filed against their fellow cops.
You want to bring my jail cell upstairs? Less than
from the stop at the Pine Lawn Police Department. Tester Greg Slade is threatened with jail time. Sergeant Christopher Clay acknowledged his department has complaint forms, but he refused to give one up. So that is an and Slade continued pressing Sergeant Clay. You're not allowed to give me that complaint form? Or you want? I'm not just going to fall away with it. You have to contact the chief. He's the only one who has out the form. And that's your power. That's your power. I left the police department when he told me that the official policy was not to give out complaint forms. Yeah. He thought it was over. So Sergeant Slade met him outside and said, "Get out of my city." Yeah, get out of the city. What happened if I don't? What happened if I don't? What happened if I don't? You put me under arrest? You're under arrest. I'm under arrest for what? Man, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? I'm just stop pushing, man. What are you like? Hey, what are you doing? Very, very don't you. Come on, go back. I'm ready to go out. I'm following you. What the hell are you doing, man? You understand? You're not going under arrest now. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't look out. You understand what I'm doing? I want. We went in after that and immediately talked to Sergeant Clay. I asked him what seriously what the incident was about. Can't help you about what the incident was about. They're going to wait for him. Why we do it is so we keep track of it, so like control now. So we know exactly what the place is coming in. We what we did. And we, we try to do things that I want to what we do. I want to do a great job. Because the rest of them I get. But he ain't gonna let anyone to calm down and get on the step. But Slade was under arrest with an official court date in summons. Will you throw me out? This is police surveillance video that test the Independence, Missouri last year. The officers refused to give him a complaint form and then arrested him. What are you doing, man? Slade ended up in the hospital. In Dallas, another police complaint center tester encountered this deputy who appeared to reach for a weapon. Oh, officer, I don't mean the problem. Okay.
They call you in for me. Oh, you're gonna make. Yeah. Well, no, I want to find out how to do it first.
Greg, it's your name?
Rich.
Let me see your license.
What if I don't have it on me? That's
Failing to identify yourself, I can take you to jail. All right? Is that what you want?
No, I don't want to go there.
Okay, give me your license then.
And some, like San Bernardino Sheriff's Department Corporal Ray Austin, had an intimidating message.
We're going to work, we'll interview you with the state, and then we'll talk to the officer, they'll do an investigation, and if your allegations are founded, the officer has the right to sue.
But that's not the policy of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. It states that any citizen can take a complaint form home, and they can fill it out anonymously. Jones left, feeling as if he was being threatened into not filing a report, and even the captain agreed.
I can see how somebody who was listening to the corporal was feeling.
After seeing the results of our test here at Sheriff's headquarters in San Bernardino, we wanted to find out if the same attitude existed at other sheriff's facilities. So the very next day, we sent our tester to Victorville. Again, Jones was told he wouldn't get a complaint form without giving his name and other information. This time, Sergeant Pat Daly made it seem like our tester was the criminal.
We have a fake name. There's nowhere how this is going. We just don't give people no name. And I would feel that you got something to hide. If you're this mistaken, so there's
And when Jones remains reluctant, the sergeant draws his own conclusion.
what that's for, right?
Why would the sergeant draw that conclusion that he's been arrested before? What side was an illicit or response from that?
Right. Well, I can answer for the sergeant.
I got 54 seconds. I'm waiting on it. So I need to see you. I'll give you your recording. You're not allowed to record or use cell phone in here. In a lobby, you can record us all day. The 9 hours with office. Yeah. I don't have to call. I would have to. Okay, you need to turn the camera on. I'll turn it on. I've asked you to do it. What is your problem? What is your problem? What is your problem?
Well, this side of me was excited. Well, you just figure out,
Lundy, Illinois says the station house cop called him a little bitch when he tried to complain about alleged rape bias by a patrol officer. The IC needs a hidden camera to test how Napa County cops treat people who have a complaint about alleged police abuse. But first, the Lundy story. The fox is the undercover investigation about the street.
this is handling from the school that the one is
Lundy said a cop confronted him when he was in the mostly white community of Meadow, Long Island.
the school that why you even talk to from this town.
It was late at night in early September. Valenzi picked up some food at an all-night diner and went to hang out with a friend from college. He was getting out of his parked car when the cop pulled up behind him. After the cop checked Valenzi's license and registration, Valenzi said the cop made this demand. Valenzi then asked the cop for his name and badge number. Valenzi said the cop retaliated by writing his ticket. Two of the three tickets were for moving violations, even though Valenzi was parked. Get this. Later that day, Valenzi went up to a cop on the desk at the first precinct to file a complaint. Valenzi says that cop then became abusive.
Well, this side of me was excited. Making a bigger deal out of something that's not.
We wanted to find out if Nassau County cops are discouraging complaints about alleged police abuse. We went undercover to investigate, meeting Maurice Hayes, the detective. Maurice was the man who helped investigate whether or not it was a crime to drive while black in Nassau County. This is Maurice in our in-camera video. He ended up handcuffed for over an hour, even though he committed no crime, not even a traffic violation. We decided to test what would happen if Maurice wanted to complain about his treatment that night. He sent him to a different part of Nassau County wearing a hidden camera. He went to 4 precincts and asked this simple question. 3 precincts, 1 digest. They gave the wrong information. During the 3rd precinct in Williston Park, a sergeant insisted there was only one way to do it.
I have to know what happened. And you didn't say I have to know what happened.
But that's not the only way. The sergeant should have known better. If you feel reluctant to talk in the station house, you don't have to. According to the Nassau County Police Department's own policy, you can file a complaint by phone or by mail, or both respectively. From there.
I want to know how do I file it?
Maurice decided, he asked 12 times in the 3rd precinct.
I can't call on the phone.
Finally, the sergeant tells him he can't call internal affairs, but then discourages him from doing that. Then, this inappropriate question. Why does that sergeant suggest that Maurice is a criminal? Remember, he's done nothing except ask how to file a complaint about police abuse. Things went from bad to worse in the 5th precinct in Elmont. Maurice asked the same house question. Listen to the cop's answer. Then more about it.
This woman right here is trying to file a complaint with the 46 precinct.
I'm here to make a complaint. Is that the concept here?
Yeah, so let me ask you this. If I was to fill something out as far as what, when, where, and how, and bring it in, are you the person that's gonna oversee that?
You want to have it.
So officer, let me ask you this, Sergeant. If I fill out a complaint in that regards, and you oversee it, I mean, you already have something against me already.
No, I don't have any.
I mean, but for you to say that if I don't talk to you, you're just gonna arrest me and find something to arrest me on, that's something against me.
Well, why don't you want to talk to me?
Honestly, I don't want to get into it like that. I just came in to get some documentation, something of that nature. So if it's a complaint, something of that nature, I can fill out a complaint and have it heard and go on from there. But I mean, if you're telling me that, you find something to arrest me on, I mean, that's a problem right there. I don't want to get into it, I'm just trying to find out. Okay, sir, let's see your driver's license. What morning is it? I didn't look at your name, obviously.
Yeah, what I need. Yeah, okay. That's it.
I have to get it.
Or you're gonna have to tell us who you are if you're making a report.
Nah, that's all right.
Well, I need to see your ID stick.
So I've sent it to an email, and I would like to read, let me do that.
Got that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On June 29th, 2011, at 3:44 p.m., I noticed a silver van with nobody in it, illegally parked at a hydrant across from my street from my building, on the northwest corner of 102nd Street, Riverside Drive. So to be cautious, I photographed the plate. New York plates are number DMC 9287, and I noticed that there was a police parking plate in the window, which was issued from the 81st Precinct, which is that South Road. As I was taking the picture, the guy in the Yankees cap approached me and asked, "You got a problem?" I said, "The van is parked illegally." He said, "You people always notice a pattern." He did not understand what he meant. I said, "Excuse me, you people always notice a fucking pattern." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "There was another guy parked up there and someone complained about that." I did not understand what he was talking about. I asked, "Do you know what the van is doing here?" And he replied, "Well, talk to the cop over there." I looked in the direction he was pointing and asked, "Who's the cop?" To my surprise, he said, "Your fucking mother." I said, "What?" And he repeated more aggressively, "Your fucking mother." I realized this was the cop for the van, and that was this was the occupant of the van, and that he was being hostile and provocative. I asked, "Who are you?" He stepped back to about 10 feet from me and raised my phone to take a picture. The guy lunged at me and grabbed me by the neck, throwing me against the building with great force. "Take a fucking picture of me, and I'll fucking crush your face," he said. A woman and some kids were walking by, and I yelled, "Call the police." The guy yelled to them mockingly, "Yeah, call the police." He then released my neck and pushed me away. As I stumbled away, he yelled, "You take a fucking picture of me, and I'll fucking kill you." I spoke to a witness who lives in the neighborhood, who told me I could find her. Hello? Okay, I appreciate your listening. Put that on the record. Um, that's all that I have to say about that. I'm very happy to answer your question.
Okay, sir. He put you on, correct?
No, he grabbed me around the neck and pinned me against the wall behind my neck, causing me to choke. And he threatened to kill me.
So do you go around and
I'm Detective Hinton. Why are you asking me that question? Yes? Go on.
the accident on that?
Yes, is that against the law or is that
something that wrong way?
detective? If I see a car on the street and I want to take a picture of it, I can do that. That is my right as a citizen of the United States.
So why would you put yourself the wrong way?
Okay, you obviously didn't understand or you weren't listening to what I was talking about.
No.
Sir. He acted, he acted in such a manner to make me. I'm really not. I'm not.
I already did my job. I took that complaint.
Yes, but I have also a complaint about the
Right. Okay, sir.
Okay. One thing I need to clarify.
No, sir. I'm getting off the phone.
Sir, there's something I need to clarify.
What's going to happen? Speak. Just won't go on anyway.
Listen, I'm asking you to do your job. You're with me. You kept me waiting for an hour. I'm speaking now, and I'm telling you a complaint. It's your job, and I pay your salary. And I'm telling you about a complaint.
Say what?
I pay your salary.
No, you don't, sir. You do not.
Who pays your salary?
Say what you have to say, sir. Say what you have to say.
I wrote in my complaint that what the guy did to me was menacing and threatening me. And I wrote out the reason why that was, and he put down harassment. And it was not harassment by definition by the law, 120.4, menacing in the second degree. placing or attempting to place a person in reasonable fear of physical injury, serious physical injury, or death. He said he was going to kill me if I did something that I had every right to do. And there's no difference than taking a picture. If he doesn't want me taking a picture, he can turn around and he can walk away. There is no provision of law that says if someone takes a picture of you, you can grab them by the neck and threaten to kill them. Okay? That's the law. I shouldn't have to tell you that because I'm a civilian and you're a cop. But that is the law. And it's written right here in 12014. Pardon me? I'm sorry? What did you say? Right. And my complaint is that they wrote it down as harassment. And I said, it's not harassment. I'm not alleging harassment. I'm making a complaint about actually stalking. And I read the law, and the guy told me something untrue. He said, threat to your life, that's harassment. Right? Are you talking to me?
Go ahead.
I told you that I allege stalking, I allege the misdemeanor of stalking and menacing, the second and third degree, and he wrote down harassment. But what the guy did to me is not harassment. It's menacing in the third and second degree, and it's stalking. You'd like to add murder? You know, you'd like to add murder.
So word against what?
No, it's not. It's just paperwork against you.
Okay, well, it's against my word. You make that difficult.
I'm not making
I asked you a
anything
question.
difficult.
You don't think
I'm
wrong.
making a complaint that the guy put down the wrong charge.
Okay, and I have that here on writing. Now add that to your complaint.
Okay, you didn't say that, though. You said I'd like to add murder.
So say I should like to add.
One more thing. You said to me, you asked me if I went around taking pictures of cars. And I want to know why you said that.
Because if you tell me your thing, why would you put yourself in the wrong way? You take a picture of somebody else's property, sometimes they react that way. So if you
How does that,
why would you take a picture of somebody's property?
because, now listen to me carefully, it was on my block in front of my house. He does not have the right to push me or tell me he's going to kill me. It has nothing to do with
that you take a picture of the vehicle because it was parked illegal.
I mean, that's your right to do.
People still react in a violent manner. So
That's
whether
against
you say stalking or the vehicle parked illegally, people tend to react in a negative
I
manner.
know, but you know what? If I go up to you, or if you call me a bad name, and I hit you with a pipe, I'm the one who gets arrested. And they don't say, well, I mean, I can't say, well, he called me a bad name, so I hit him with a pipe. That's just not the law. The law is I can take a picture of any darn thing I want to.
No, we're not going by the law.
Of course we are. The law is the law. Of course we're going by the law. And the fact that I took the picture of the car does not change anything at all. I can go around taking pictures of people in New York City with absolute impunity. And if somebody punches me, they go to jail. I don't. And if you disagree with that, then you simply don't know the law. The fact is, it's totally inappropriate question for you to ask me, why am I taking a picture of a car? I could have taken the picture of the car because I thought it was a pretty car and I wanted to take a picture of it. This is the kind of car I want to get. And if the guy comes in and throws me against the wall and tells me he's going to kill me, he's the one that gets in trouble, not me. And that's why I'm saying that for you to tell me that I did something wrong or imply that I was jeopardizing, I was doing something inappropriate by taking a picture of the car. That's the point. And I'd like to hear a confirmation of that because otherwise I'm very, very troubled by your attitude. You're saying to me that somehow I shouldn't have taken a picture of the car and this cop had the right to bang my head against the wall and threaten to kill me because I took a picture of the car? That's what I'm complaining about. You understand?
Duncan Hicks was inside the Victorville police station this month to file a police report. Unsatisfied with how the receptionist and deputy were handling it, Hicks recorded part of the incident.
He was very disrespectful to me, very rude to me.
Hicks says this was his third time here and also and says this time the deputy refused to write his report down and then took it a step further.
This does not explain the incident, sir.
Hey, Duncan, you know my man? I'm about to get tired of you, and you're about to go to jail. Just so you know.
What I'm going to jail for?
I'll create something, you understand? You'll go to jail, you understand that?
I was shocked. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm a law-abiding citizen. You can't say that. How are you going to create something? That's against the law.
Recording me like that? That's illegal. Without my knowledge, you want to go to jail for that too?
According to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, recording in the station is allowed.
We then traveled to neighboring Huntington Park, and it seemed that word traveled with us.
I want to know, I want to file a complaint against one of your officers. What do I do? Do I have to do a form or something? Because when you just said that police department?
Sergeant Michael Craven was apparently alerted by Bell Police, but instead of realizing it was a test, he proceeded to violate his own department's complaint policy.
But I'm just pissed off about it. I don't feel like getting into that. That's the reason. I mean, there's no way I can't give you a complaint. But it's just a form. I know what it is. You know what it's about. If you're not happy with me, then you can come back tomorrow morning and talk to my chief of police.
Jones didn't want to provide information and didn't have to according to police policy, but Sergeant Craven didn't know or didn't care.
You have to let me know where it occurred. If you don't know where it occurred, how can you investigate this? You don't know where it happened at. You don't know where it happened at, and I do for you. Take my name right there, Sergeant Craven. You come back tomorrow morning and complain to my chief of police.
We did just that.
So if you're not happy with me, you can come back tomorrow morning and talk to my chief of police.
Assistant Chief Michael Visser viewed the tape. Huntington Park wasn't alone in policy violations. The Culver City Police Department watch commander also refused to give out a form without any information.
We need to know who you are, where you live, phone number, that kind of stuff.
If somebody gives out a form, I have to register that with the chief's office as to who I gave it to and the nature of the complaint.
That violates the Culver City Police policy. A police lieutenant told me anyone can come in and get a complaint form, and complaints can be filed anonymously, even if the forms are registered with the chief's office.
It would certainly appear to be of some law in effect.
You don't know where to go. How can you do that?
Larry Paul is a 40-year law enforcement veteran. He reviewed the undercover videotapes and says the Culver City watch commander and others who refuse to give out forms may not be ignorant of policy, but trying to protect their own.
It would appear to me that he was certainly attempting to discourage any complaints being registered through his department.
The Huntington Park Assistant Chief refused to tell me if Sergeant Craven faced any disciplinary action because he violated department policy. Culver City Police were invited to respond to our report, but they refused. It's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night. Our tester, Doug Jones, is walking into one of the most notorious police stations in the LAPD, the Rampart Division. His purpose, to ask about filing a complaint.
Hey, look, if I want to file a complaint against one of your officers, what I do? Your Honor, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to address this court.
Rampart Division is, of course, where Rafael Perez admitted shooting innocent victims like Javier Ovando. And this is where we began our test of the LAPD complaint process. In Victorville, our tester was refused a form, violating department policy.
What's going on before
In San Bernardino, Sheriff Corporal Ray Austin's conduct was found to be intimidating by his own captain.
Your allegations and founders, the officer has the right to speak.
At Lakewood,
have you tried something that's actually
and at Palmdale,
You know what? Let me send it to here.
Jones was able to take a complaint form home so he could fill it out anonymously. But at 2 other stations we tested, he was told there was no such form. We also tested the Long Beach Police Department. We were told that forms were only filled out by supervisors, and Jones had to put his name on any complaint.
Oh, I can't like just send one in like anonymously or just, you can't file a complaint anonymously.
But the Long Beach Police Department policy clearly states you can file anonymous complaints. In all, we tested 31 police locations. 19 followed policy. They provided complaint forms or complied with proper procedures. 12 did not follow policy. They either had no forms or no supervisors on duty who could give us one. or they violated one or more procedures.
Or file a complaint with one of the deputies, what I do.
Jones, who works for the Police Complaint Center, a national police watchdog group, says the percentages are about average. They've done the tests in many major cities and say the findings usually work to improve police policies.
We do tests, and that's what we're conducting, tests, not to catch them with your pants down. I mean, they're done very well.
You guys have like a come in here, walk and they go. Well, doesn't have to. You guys have a form. Some people write a letter, but you guys have a form. I feel like we're beating around the bush right now.
Oh, shit.
Let's not stop beating around the bush. You
Is
guys
there
have
anything
a
on
form.
here?
You guys have a pen and paper.
Hey, you just have a weapon on you.
Hey, you three, you step outside.
Why?
On September 5th, 2014, I attended the Police Accountability March that marked the one-year anniversary of the shooting death of veteran Dennis Reynoso. While filming the march, I noticed an undercover Lynn police vehicle shadowing the peaceful crowd. I approached the vehicle and requested the officer's name and badge number. The Lynn police vehicle struck me hard enough that its mirror folded back, and the driver immediately stopped and got on his radio after hitting me. The officer did not check to see if I was injured and did not offer any sort of aid, nor did he ever identify himself. On September 8th, I entered the Lynn Police Department to report the incident. Lieutenant Shorten took an initial report. So, I had on Friday, I had a police officer from the Lynn Police I then found the vehicle in the station's back lot. So it looks like, oh look, they repaired it. All right, so they didn't. Okay, so look, they did not. All right, so you can see it is detached from when it hit me, and they had to repair it with that screw that definitely was not there. As I documented the vehicle, the Lynn police cruiser pulled up. Hi. This is the car that hit me. Yeah. This is public property. You're a police station. Can I have your name and badge number, please? For your name and badge. Can I see your ID card, please? Really? That's illegal. Under Massachusetts general law, it absolutely is. I'm making a lawful request under Massachusetts law for your ID card. I left the lot and approached the main desk. Hey, not trying to bother them. Oh, hey. What? No, I haven't been my report. Well, actually, first of all, I'd like to make second of all, you refuse to identify yourself. Literally. I'm sure that. But in the meantime, I'd like to make people heard saying that I can't be. Not me. Who do I make it for? The chief's the best guy. Okay. Well, I found a birthday cookie and I was reporting earlier.
Okay, and what do you go from?
Am I being arrested?
Huh?
Am I being arrested? Well, I'm still trying to report that a police car drove into me, and I found it literally at that time. So are you trying to stop him from he literally does not have all the information he needs.
He has the information that he needs to document for additional investigation if needed.
Oh, okay.
He is documenting
I would also like to make a complaint about this officer. Can I please talk to Lieutenant? No? You're going to block the complaint about this officer, and you're not going to let me explain refusal to ID under Massachusetts law.
I gave you my best.
He flat out refused, he did not show a ID card. It was only when he came back out here to harass me further after telling me to come in.
Okay, I've asked you several times on leave the police station.
I have a criminal complaint in voluntary, it's violating the law, violating my rights, I want to file a criminal complaint having.
I'm a victim of a crime, so I would like you to investigate who. That's it. We're not going to do your investigation. So I want to make a complaint against you. I didn't say I want to make. I will make a complaint against you to the state attorney. I'm going to do it. Well, I'm not crazy. I'm going to do it. If you don't, I'm asking to file a criminal. We're not filing anything. You're under arrest.
Did you provide Mr. Jernigan with any? Excuse me.
I want to first start live view on that video. Disturbed me, and as it disturbed everyone who actually witnessed that video. The suspect, or the man in that video, was lying down. He was clearly handcuffed. He was clearly not resisting. He was not a threat to anyone. What happened yesterday at the hands of one of my former officers was embarrassing, not only to the Gwinnett County Police Department, but to all law enforcement. Surveillance video shows the moment Oxnard police officer Daniel Once shot 30-year-old Joel Tapia Jr. It was Sunday evening. Officer Once was making his rounds at this mobile home park. He was looking for Tapia, a known criminal with an outstanding warrant. Assistant Police Chief Eric Sonsgaard describes what went down.
Once he sees Mr. Tapia, he's only a few feet away from him. So he chooses to make contact with him at that point and decides to take him into custody, and that's when the physical altercation began.
The chaos moves to the street. That's when Tapia's family comes outside. You can hear the family trying to get him to stop, but the brawl continues.
And as he would try to reach for that taser, Mr. Tapia would pull the officer's wrist away, kind of not allowing him to access the tool.
At one point, the suspect turns the officer on his back and starts punching him multiple times.
And at this time, Officer Once's gun has dislodged from his holster, and it's now sitting next to him. So it's kind of like the officer needs to get to it before Mr. Tapia gets to it.
It was then Officer Once shot the suspect in the arm. After a couple more punches, Tapia takes off to his home. SWAT is called to the scene, and after multiple attempts to get him to surrender, officers make entry to the home and arrest him.
He has several prior arrests for either resisting the efforts of an officer or fighting with police officers. We're very aware of his history.
I do live over there.
No.
They're not gonna show you no ID, man. You haven't committed no crime at all. Nobody's showing you shit.
All right, so check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video there. Basically, we were just giving him the rundown about his rights. Now this guy knows better. And from what I understand, this guy's not on probation, he's not on parole, and I guess it's become almost a daily thing with the cops jamming this guy up. Like we jammed him up today. He was just with this old lady. He was walking, she was riding a bike, and they just jammed him up. And they had her in the back seat, and they were asking him to show his tattoos all out in the public on the street. You know, that's a dickhead move. I mean, this guy was illegally detained. Yeah, he wasn't committing a crime. He wasn't suspected of committing a crime. He wasn't committing a crime. And as you see, they let him go right away. As soon as they see the cameras, they're looking at him. Now, I don't know about the cop that was standing at the front of the car. You know, he never gave us that look. But that guy that was sitting in that driver's seat who was telling this guy, "What's your tattoos?" I already know this guy, there's something up with this guy. And cops like that don't need to be working in the force at all. Matter of fact, you know, I'm going to be making sure that every time I see this guy, I'm going to keep the camera on him because this isn't his first rodeo. This is the first time he violated somebody's rights. And you know what? People like that, they don't deserve to work in the law enforcement agency. See, he's trying to climb up the ladder of being a dickhead, acting like he's game unit, but jam people up and, you know, flash a little shiny copper badge at people. And a lot of folks have to say they think that they can just sit there, they have to listen. That's what they think. Oh, I gotta listen to you, and you don't. You have rights. So, you know what, man? I really hope that if this officer comes across this video, dude, you need to stop violating people's rights because if not, you got guys like myself and other guys who's gonna record your ass. And one day we're gonna get that golden video that's gonna expose you, and that golden video is gonna put your ass in the unemployment line. So I strongly suggest, man, you carry yourself like you have honor, and you remember your goddamn oath. And you watch me signing out.
Done asking nothing, no. Put your gun down, really? Clearly didn't like pointing my camera video at him. He thinks he's being funny now.
Right. Go keep your hand out of your pocket.
No, sir, I haven't done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing, no. Put your gun down, really? This one really got a gun. No. You don't touch me. You don't touch me. You don't touch me. No, you don't touch me.
I tell you to take your hand out.
I've done nothing. Nope.
You need to relax.
What have I done? Why'd you get it?
Take a picture of me.
Take a picture of me.
I don't have to.
Neither do I.
I don't take your hand out of your pocket. I just want to make sure you don't have a weapon.
You know I don't have a weapon on me.
I don't know that.
You do that. I'm completely clear. Wrong. You have your gun out because you're a police officer. You're trying to intimidate me. This is going all over YouTube. What's wrong? Your station is corrupt.
Are you some kind of a constitutionalist,
No, sir.
crazy guy or something like that?
Is that what you're going after? Is that where you're going? Are you throwing flames around?
Revolution doesn't stop when the live show ends. Join the home of Become a TYT member today. Click the link below.
Once again, video footage proves that a police account of a violent incident with someone they were approaching did not go down the way that they said it did. So here's the video footage. Just bear in mind, it is violent.
Am I gonna want you that? Like, sorry, hey, listen, bro, I just got to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't have time to. I don't want to go right now. I don't need it. Don't get on the phone now. Don't touch me like that.
So what you saw there was the cops approaching a guy in Orange County. This is really early in the morning. The guy is so intoxicated that we didn't play the whole part of them talking to him beforehand. But he was having trouble even responding to their questions. The idea that he was violently getting up and attacking them seems ridiculous when you know how drunk he was. But you've also just seen it right there. He said, "Don't touch me," and the guy immediately began punching him. Now, what the cops say happened is that he resisted arrest and he attacked them. That is, of course, what they always go to.
Yep.
Apparently either forgetting that the camera in their car is on, expecting that they can say that it was turned off, as is often the case. But thankfully, in this case, the video footage shows that the cops attacked him totally needlessly.
So here are the number of lies that the police said about it. And yes, I said lies because they're absolutely positively lying about it because I just saw it with my own eyes. And you can watch the whole video as well. So they say that he attacked first. We just saw it. And he was antagonistic throughout. He was laughing at the second before they started punching him in the face. They said that he used gang language. I didn't catch that part. And that he used the N-word. I'm sure they were so offended by him using the N-word, which he didn't, that's why they started punching him in the face. And then pretended that he was punching them. Yeah. So, and this story on what happened has changed from that. The cop who did the punching a great number of times. First, he said he was trying to bear hug me. Then he said he continued to physically struggle. Then he got changed to he was worried about his aggressive demeanor and worried that he was going to attack him. So that's why he needed to be punched in the face a bunch of times. That's when he realized, oops, there's video. There you go. And his bosses so far completely supporting the cop and saying that was right. So think about it. If you live in Orange County, they believe that is proper policing.
But see, this is the fundamental problem
I had with police. Last night I had a one-on-one with Jason Whitlock, and he talked about how well these politicians they don't really want to have to be spending this money on police abuse settlements. And I'm going, yeah, but they're continuing. The reality is that police officers consistently lie. They know that DAs, grand juries, and juries give them the benefit of the doubt in nearly every case. So they say we can lie with impunity. And I continue to say what should happen is if a police officer lies in a report, they should be automatically fired. That's what happened in the Kwame McDonald case with Jason Van Dyke. That's what happened in the Walter Scott shooting. And luckily, you had video that actually disproved that. And this is why the life of Sheriff David Clark and all these police shooters and others, they are silent when these cops lie. The Chicago Tribune even did a story where a judge in Chicago, 8 cops lied on his witness stand. And the judge is sitting there going, y'all are lying. Reported them to the Police Accountability Board, and there was no investigation. And then Jeff Sessions, Trump goes to Chicago and says, the morale of police officers. This is why you have to have consent decrees, because they lie and they throw people in jail. They destroy their lives using the authority of the badge and gun. And that is shameful. And I hope that locale ends up having to pay 2, 3, 4, 5 million for what they did to him for those cops lying.
So I want you to understand other important context. This guy was intoxicated. He was in a car, right? So you might be thinking, well, look, it was dangerous. No, it was a parking lot. He was sleeping. He was not driving. So they just went to a guy who was sleeping in his own car and not driving because he was too intoxicated. And see, that's why he was sleeping. He could have drove home, but he didn't. Okay, he made the right decision. Okay,
and this is what happens why they turn off their body cameras or they cut the case of Sacramento. Hey, cut the audio. Same thing. I'll say it again. If a cop turn the dash cam off, turn the body camera off, turn the audio off, immediate fire.
Yeah.
That's what it should be because they need that to be the penalty for lie.
Worst case scenario generally is if they get fired, that's a 1 in 1,000 chance. They move 8 miles away and get hired by the
They
next
lose their police officer license.
Yeah. And so, and of course, the cops have stuck with the other cops.
Always.
And to Roland's other point, so not only did they beat the hell out of this guy, and when he was on the ground, they continued to punch him in the face, but now they're putting a felony resisting arrest charge, because I guess his face was resisting their fist. And if he's convicted of that, his life is ruined. So they add literal insult to injury.
Yeah.
Okay?
And there's a few other, I just want to read a couple other quotes because what they presented was we have a dangerous job. We go into a situation, this guy's being dangerous, we had to fight him. Then you see the reality and you realize that in a lot of these situations, they're so filled with fear that the standard is below the ground.
Yes.
But it's worse than that because this guy was not even legitimately afraid. Look at a couple of quotes of this police officer. So he said during that conversation, when Siam asks, are you going to shoot me? He says, no. The other chimes in, I'd like to. So they're thinking about wanting to commit a violent act. But beyond even that, in another dashcam video from that morning, deputies can be heard talking and laughing about recent fights with suspects. That was a good fight, one chuckled, and another replied, I got in another good one last week. So they are giving us no reason to believe that they're not driving around Orange County late at night, hoping to come across someone that they can plausibly beat the crap out of.
And by the way, you cowards, it's not a fight. It's just you assaulting someone. Because you not only do you have a gun, but you have a badge. The badge is actually more important than the gun because that means you can murder someone and get away with it.
There you go.
And then you beat the living crap out of someone and think you're a tough guy because you won the fight. If they dared to throw a punch back at you, their life would be ruined and maybe ended immediately.
And the thing is, cops also know the game. I sit here and I go back to Sandra Bland. When she came out of that parking lot, that cop did a U-turn. If you watch that video, she did absolutely nothing wrong. And then when he pulled her over, he put the cigarette out.
Yeah.
It's not against the law. But he knew she was agitated. And he kept pushing. And then when he said, get out of the car. Because the law says that even if the cop is wrong, you are to obey even an unlawful command. And if you say no, that's when they say, you disobey a lawful command, now I can arrest you. And they captured her on the dash cam trying to figure out in the car what the charger with. Oh, he was going through with the supervisor, and that's what these cops do. And luckily, I know people say, well, dash cams and body cams, they aren't perfect, but because of this, we now are catching these cops in Baltimore planting drugs. The guy in Michigan who planted drugs on a black guy had to raise taxes in the town to pay for the settlement. Now, because of that, we're seeing it. But as long as you keep allowing them to keep a piece of license and don't force them to pay for these settlements themselves, they're going to keep doing it.
So let me add just a couple quick things to that. To Roll's point about lying, this cop said that that what you just saw was quote an assisted fall. He said he was trying to slow down the guy's fall.
Wow.
Okay. What? Oh, wait.
Oh, that's what I saw.
Yeah, that's slowing down somebody's fall apparently.
Wow.
Okay. And we all just saw the video with us, right? He said, I helped him fall to the ground, that he softened the fall. You helped, the only part is true, you did help him fall to the ground.
Yeah.
Right. By punching him in the face several times.
He was sort of like laying him down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Do they know this?
yeah,
But they know they can lie. And there was a guy in Connecticut. He says, get on your knees. The guy's going to his knees, hands up. The cop kicks him in his head, knocks him unconscious, goes to trial, not guilty.
yeah.
Well, and with Laquan McDonald, he still was saying, like, even once the jury had already seen the tape many times, he was still saying, yeah, look at him. I was afraid he was going to kill me.
Look at him. What does that mean? Last thing, guys, is a guy, you know, cops lying when the only charge is resisting arrest. Getting arrested for in the first place. Nothing. Like what you see, click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.
Very more pursuit of suspect vehicle. Southbound Mojave. Stop fire! Stop fire! Be advised, stop fire! Stop fire! Stop fire, please. Southbound Mojave passing Bonanza. Blast! Stop fire! Stop!
guys want to win an Apple iPad 9.7 Pro, all you need to do is leave a like and comment, hit the subscribe button, and make sure that the bell notification is turned on. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 7. Today, we'll be looking at bad cops. A police officer's job is to serve and protect, but what can we do if it's the police breaking the law? While the majority of them are just doing their jobs, there are others that abuse their power. Some police officers turn bad and make money from ripping off drug dealers and even dealing drugs themselves. Some try to cover up their own acts of brutality and torture. Here are 7 police officers who were caught breaking the law. Number 7, NYPD officer stealing money. An NYPD cop stole $1,300 from a construction worker while searching him in Coney Island. After allegedly taking his money, he pepper sprayed him. The incident was precipitated by a call of a man with a gun, but they did not find any gun. Number 6, Florida trooper arrests Miami police. Florida's Jane Watts handcuffed Miami Police Department officer Fausto Lopez while he was in full uniform and driving a police car at 120 miles per hour. After the incident, she claims she has had threatening calls on her cell phone, police cars idling outside her house, and fellow officers accessing the private driver's license information.
One broad and command firing. An FHP trooper pulls over a Miami police officer. Rips him, cuffs him, works him to her cruiser. And during all of this, the Miami officer sounds just as shocked as she is mad.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it.
It began unbelievably just minutes before with his police cruiser sitting here, passing by the trooper like she was standing still. She chases him like flashing engines screaming. As she distracts him, he's in and out of lanes, speeding up and slowing down, at speeds topping 120 miles an hour, until both finally come to a tense stop 4 minutes 57 seconds later.
Number 5, cop sexually assaults and arrests girl after she calls 911. On July 25th, 2016, Amanda Houghton called police for help after a car accident. She expected Layton City officers would help her, but instead she was arrested for DUI and subjected to a body search that left her feeling violent. The arrest was recorded by a police camera.
Her husband said she wasn't drunk or high.
She had moved on the way to move on foot. She was just in a car accident with both cars. I believe it's okay.
The officer arrested her for DUI. The officer then searched Amanda around the chest. I think I need help. I probably wasn't twice.
Number 4, police frame black smoke shop owner. Local police department using undercover agents to purposely plant crack cocaine in the shop of an African American business owner, with the intention of hauling him off to prison for up to 7 years for a crime he did not even commit. But thanks to the footage captured by his store's numerous security surveillance cameras. Number 3, State cop arrested for assaulting repo man. A New Mexico State police officer was arrested after allegedly assaulting a repo tow truck driver. Los Lunas police said they responded to a call that the driver and a man were in some sort of conflict after an attempted repossession. When police arrived on the scene, they say police officer Charles Bernier, 6'5", was choking the driver. The chokehold lasted for 8 minutes. Bernier wouldn't let the driver go until an officer pulled out his taser. Bernier also attempted to run from officers.
On the wrong end of the teaser. All started with the repo gone wrong outside a Los Lunas apartment complex. The man in the chokehold was trying to repossess Charles Bernier's Nissan Xterra. The 6'5" Bernier claims the repo man shoved him. Repo man says he didn't, but still video from the man's wife is able to the chokehold lasted again for 8 minutes and gets pretty strong at points.
Step around the vehicle now. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
The state cop finally starts to listen, and then
Put your hands on your head. Yes, you are. Turn around.
he bolts before tripping over his own feet.
Number 2, cop caught speeding on busy road. Cop was going 84 miles per hour on a 60 miles per hour road with no lights and sirens on, which is totally illegal. The guy in the other car noticed it and started filming them, but got pulled over pretty quickly.
Hey, fucking slow down! You slow down! How fucking fast are you going, motherfucker?
Yep, morning. Can I ask you why you're pulling me over? Can I ask you why you're pulling me over? Sir, you were doing 85 miles an hour when you passed me. And apparently that's against the law too. So where did you get off pulling me over for speeding when you flew past a bunch of traffic at 60 miles an hour? No lights, no sirens. Listen, that's bullshit. No, listen. What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge number? You work for me. I don't work for you. And you need to slow down in my car. You got it? You need to slow down in my car. You work for me, trooper. And that's bullshit. You put lives in danger when you do that. Is it okay for you guys to speed like that? Is it okay to blow by traffic in 60 miles an hour, no lights, no sirens? And you can pull me over for speeding? Okay, but you aren't allowed to speed either. And I know you weren't driving, but you need to correct him. Okay? You guys enforce laws. When he speaks, you go, hey, slow down, pal. We're speeding. So, you don't want to answer any of my questions. You work for me, and I'm asking you a direct question. You guys get to speed wherever you go? No business call, no nothing?
Number 1, cop caught on body cam planting drugs at crime scene. Video showing Baltimore police officer appearing to plant drugs at the scene of a crime that implicated the defendant as a murder. There was no sound during the first 30 seconds when an officer was planting the drug, as the camera saved video from that time prior to the device being activated, but did not record the audio. The cop is heard saying, "He's going to check down with hold on." Sounds as though laughter can be heard in the background. He begins walking down the alley back to the scene. If you did enjoy today's video, please drop a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
What's going on, guys? It's another day, another dollar to be made. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, what's the difference between city cops and deputies? I mean, other than the fact that we're awesome. I'll explain the rest of it in this video coming up. All right, guys, so let me break it down for you. Basically, we all do the same job. Now, what I'm going to speak on is what I'm used to here in Florida and the way things are run here. And from what I've heard from officers that we hired from up north, things are a little different up north. Basically, in this area, both your city police officers and the deputy sheriffs are all out on the road. You're all taking calls for service and basically doing the same thing. Now, with that being said, the deputy sheriff in our area also maintain the courthouses with all of the bailiffs, and they maintain the jail with the corrections deputies. City police don't have anything to do with that. They maintain all of that. But in our area, the sheriff's office also has a complete full squad of patrol officers, just like me, that are out and about in marked cruisers, taking calls throughout all of the parts of the county. From what I understand, up north, a lot of the sheriff's offices just maintain the courts and the jails, and they don't really have road officers, or at least an abundance of them like we do here. So let me break it down for you. And again, I'm gonna talk about Florida, but it should get you a pretty good idea of how it works. You have the state of Florida. Within the state, it's broken down to counties. Okay? Within those counties, you have your cities, and then even one step below that, within some of the cities, you have townships. So the town of, and it'll usually be a very small municipality. Now, in real layman's terms, the way it works is each area that's divided up has the option to become their own entity. So if the city of Seminole wants to have their own city council, their own ordinances, all those different things, they do that. There's a boundary box, and I don't know how all of that gets set up, but you'll have the area of that city. Now, at that time, they have two options. They can either form their own police department, which the taxpayers would pay for. Those units would be the city of Seminole Police. They would have cruisers marked for their city, and they would patrol and maintain just that city, all funded by the taxpayers of that area. Now, when you have smaller cities, like Seminole, for example, they are their own individual city. They have their own city council and everything like that. However, they contract their law enforcement services from the sheriff's office. So what they do is essentially pay for X amount of officers that they want designated to their city. Outside of that, the sheriff's office has sectors and zones that cover other parts of that city. Now, those cars can come and go from the city as needed. The ones that are paid for or contracted by the city of Seminole, barring a major emergency, they're required to stay within the city limits of whatever city they're being contracted for and do essentially whatever they're being asked to do in that area. Let's back out of that and then get a larger city, city of Tampa, let's say. City of Tampa is within Hillsborough County. So you have the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and then you have the City of Tampa Police. So the City of Tampa is big enough that they decided we want our own police department, and we're going to pay for that. We're going to outfit officers, uniforms, cruisers, buildings, everything you need to run a police department. So they take care of all of the issues that they need to with within the city limits of Tampa. Now, the Hillsborough County Sheriff has jurisdiction within that city because they have jurisdiction within the entire county of Hillsborough. Typically, the main core parts of the city, the deputies maybe pass through, but they don't really respond to calls for service because as a call comes into 911, that gets found out by the address of where that person lives. If they live within the city of Tampa PD is going to dispatch to those calls. So that is essentially how that works. Now, within a city, pockets of what they call unincorporated counties. So you may have a city like Tampa that has a Tampa mailing address within the Tampa zip code. However, pieces of property, businesses, roadways, some of it may not have been what they call annexed, brought into the specific city, which gets funded by that city's tax base. So within the city of Tampa, you could have pockets of county property or county area. And in those cases, if a call came out in that area, even though it's kind of within the city of Tampa, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office would respond to those areas. So that's a basic rundown of what the difference is. So if you see police or city cops, they work for a specific city municipality that is funded by that city's taxpayers' dollars, and they are their own entity. Like I said, 99% of the time, they are going to just patrol and maintain within the city limits of that city. Although we are state certified, we have arrest powers throughout the entire state of Florida, we typically stick with our city. Now, coming and going from work, if you're involved in an incident, witness an incident, we can take action, we can do whatever we need to do, and then what we would do is whatever city we happen to be in at that time, we would call that agency, they would come, take over, assist, and then we would complete a report considered an assist other agency of what we did within their jurisdiction. Now, it's been my experience at the time that I've been a police officer, which is coming up on 13 years, that all of us work really well together. Okay, we have a good time. We all do the same job. We wear different uniforms, but at the end of the day, we're out there doing the exact same thing as the other guy, and we're out there to watch out for each other. Of course, there's like firefighters versus police. It's like a love-hate relationship, like a brother-sister kind of speed, and that's what we have. But I love all the people we work with. FHP, that's a whole nother animal. Just kidding, guys. But those guys, in case somebody wants to know, you have state law enforcement officers. Now, typically that boils down to Fish and Wildlife and the State Highway Patrol around here. We don't have a lot of other. We don't have state officers that respond to calls for service like I do, going to a burglary or a domestic or a battery, things like that. Florida Highway Patrol, which is a state law enforcement agency, they just do traffic enforcement. Traffic enforcement, DUIs, and traffic crashes. They don't respond to calls for service like I do. I rarely ever work with them or see them. Usually I run into them at traffic court, and that's about it. Those guys are on a different level. No offense, I love you guys, but they don't write their own mom a ticket. They're ruthless. That is their job. Their sole purpose in life is to go out and do traffic enforcement. Which obviously in certain cases it's a needed thing. It's not my cup of tea, but glad you guys are out there, so I don't have to do it. All right, guys, I know this wasn't a very long one, but I see this question time and time again. I hope this cleared a few things up for you. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I try to get back to as many people as I can. If you have any other video suggestions, things you want to know about this profession, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer your question, and or if it's a good topic, I'll make a video on it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. I answer questions like this, some of the car blogs, and then when I can, I bring the camera with me out on calls. You get a little taste of what we do on a call, interacting with the public. All right? I hope everybody's having a great day. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
Welcome to, I guess you could say, LMAO episode 2. So why did this one take so long? I can tell you that it's not because Patty Mayo threatened me with legal action, saying that I was putting his team in danger. I really just said what I needed to say. I think I proved my point, and he said, "Hey, you made a lot of false assumptions and said a bunch of stuff that was wrong." And I said, "Patty, tell me what I said wrong, and I will absolutely correct myself." He just never said anything to me again. So, Patty, if you're watching this and I make any false statements, just let me know, and I'll make a whole new video correcting myself. With that being said, I don't not like Patty. I respect his hustle, honestly. He's got like 3 million subs in the past year, and the pineapple guy thing was funny. It was really funny.
Okay, that's the thing. My favorite pineapple.
I mean, that alone got like 1 billion views on Facebook and really skyrocketed his channel to what 4 point something million subs. When I made Spoiled Mayo episode 1, he had less than 1 million subs. I never planned on making another episode again until some things started popping up on Twitter. I've been very busy over the past 6 months. I can barely contain myself. The season premiere is sooner than you think. Hashtag DBSO. And then in his background, we've got him with his sheriff's vest on. He's walking towards his cruiser there. First and foremost, if you watch his content, cool. He can be pretty entertaining. He's got the formula down. He's obviously doing something right with the tremendous amount of growth that his channel has had. The thing that bothers me about this whole new show that he's running is that he has 4 million subs, most of whom are impressionable young teenagers, and he doesn't tell anyone that he's not really a cop. This is a problem for me and for all of law enforcement because he doesn't conduct himself professionally as a law enforcement officer. And a lot of those young, impressionable teenagers are going to look at his videos and say, "Oh, that's how a cop acts." Since he released his new video the other day for a new series, the BDSO, I've probably had 300 or 400 people send me messages on Twitter like, "Look at this, you need to do a video about it." Here it is. So the pictures start popping up, and I asked myself, along with a few other officers who I know, who would give old Patty Flag My Partner Mayo a badge? Thus, the research began, and I have come to the assumption I'm guessing that he's not a police officer. Well, let's start with DBSO. What does it stand for? Patty is California-based. Public records show this, and even says in his channel description. His partner, Zach Holman, on all the Bounty Hunter stuff, is a streamer based in California. He actually had a Netflix special called Shot in the Dark that received reviews like the most tasteful show of 2017, and Shot in the Dark, pure, undiluted rubbernecking, feeding on human misery. We're getting off topic. DBSO, DBSO, not the BDSM police department, you dirty birdies. Let's start with California and the surrounding states. There's no BDSO. Well, there's one in New Mexico, and they only have like 5 officers, and I talk to them, he doesn't work for them. There's no BDSO in Nevada, Washington, Arizona, or Oregon. On both sides of his patrol vehicle, you can see a little sticker that says accreditation. Well, this is a CALEA law enforcement accreditation sticker. It stands for the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. They do all these checks and audits, and if you follow their standards, then it's harder for people to sue your agency. Well, there's only one sheriff's department in all of California that holds this accreditation. That's the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. There is no DBSO with a CALEA accreditation in all of California. There's a Diamond Bar agency in California, DBSO, but that's actually just a substation of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office, and he's definitely not a part of that. I called and verified that too. Moving along in the video, let's break it down a little bit. A few seconds in, they find a car with expired tags to pull over, run it through control, and initiate a traffic stop. Oh no, Patty doesn't have a dash cam.
Control, 420.
The badge number is 420. Come on, guys. Okay, so the car that they pull over is an Oregon plate. So hey, maybe Patty commutes to Oregon for a sheriff's deputy job. But then why didn't he say that it was an Oregon tag when he ran it through dispatch?
Permit tag, X-ray, Delta, Kilo, 154.
Which just kind of goes back to my earlier argument of there's not a DBSO in Oregon. And the only CALEA accredited sheriff's department in Oregon is the Washington County Sheriff's Department. So now we have an initial approach to the vehicle.
How you doing, sir? Deputy Mayo with the Sheriff's Department. Do you have your driver's license and proof of insurance registration for me?
I'm Deputy Mayo with the Sheriff's Department. Unless he's recently changed his name legally to Mayo, I don't see any department allowing somebody to give out a nickname. I just want to throw out there, too, that there's no patch on his vest. There's no name tag. There's no DBSO on it. Another thing I want to point out is, according to Article 7 of the California Legislature for Emergency Vehicle Lights, they are required to have at least one steady burning red warning lamp, which this police car does not. At 9:22, guy doesn't give consent to search. He looks like he gets agitated when Patty puts his hand in his pocket. A fight breaks out. Patty says, "Hands on, hands on." I've never heard anyone personally say hands on, hands on. And the partner gingerly strolled over to the fight. One important point I'd like to bring up about this part is the lack of radio traffic.
not just here, honestly. The video is 43 minutes long, no to only people on the radio the entire time.
Hands up, you're control, I'm fighting. There goes in my pocket. Get off the vehicle. Can't go through my pocket.
He would do that. He's fighting someone and his voice is a little different. He says, I'm fighting over the radio. You don't hear anyone else respond. If an officer hears another officer fighting, especially coming over the radio and saying, I'm fighting, then you're gonna get some response. You're probably gonna hear something along the lines of Control 69 en route 420 code 3. Somebody's gonna radio that they're coming to help you, so you know that's coming. So they gently set Billy on the ground. Teresa starts acting a fool too. They gently set her on the ground. Teresa and Billy are arrested for resisting arrest and they're placed into the back patrol car. Okay. By the way, while we're talking about it, I can't find Teresa or Billy in any arrest database. So Patty places them in the back patrol car and then he argues with them for a while. You don't argue with people you're arresting like that. You definitely don't say things like this.
I will choke you out with your sweatshirt. You don't stop. Slide, stop. No, you're sliding the fuck up. Why is that slamming shit on you? I will show you my taser you pull away from me again. Y'all being dumbasses. And I'm not buying any of it.
That's why your car's getting towed tonight. It's just asshole tax.
Next time you get pulled over by the police, don't act like a dickhead, right?
Honestly, I'm not going to analyze the entire video. We're not going to sit here and it's really a big waste of time for me. I saw the whole video. I just wanted to point out some of the bigger things I noticed. By the way, spoiler here, backup never shows up. Another thing that I kind of want to point out is that he's still releasing bounty hunter videos. I don't know of any agency in this country that would allow someone to moonlight as a bounty hunter while they are fully employed as a sheriff's deputy. There's so much conflict of interest and liability there. Something else that's kind of bothering me is that Patty would definitely be a rookie police officer at this point, but he's driving around in an unmarked vehicle. They're allowing him to have a camera crew with him, and he's telling his partner what to do.
Search her. I got that. Search her shoes. Stand her up. Want to stand her up in front of the car?
Speaking of his partner, the guy that's listed in the description of this video, you pop over to his partner's Instagram, you see that they have a badass little mobile off-road coffee shop going. It's really cool. You can also see that his partner's name is Byron Lesick, which sounded kind of familiar to me. And if you look in the description of the video, you can also see Patty shouting out, "Hey, Jared." Jared's last name is Lesick. So his partner, another guy shouting out in the video, I think it's his cameraman. That's speculation. Are brothers. Patty, Jared, and Byron are all paramotor enthusiasts. That's where you can kickstand on your back and you can parachute and fly around. Looks really cool. I'd like to try it sometime. I'm guessing more speculation here, research speculation that they all met. Byron, Patty's partner in this video, even has an old YouTube channel. You can see him flying his little paramotor thing around. While searching around on Google using Patty's name and paramotor, I happened to come across an article from 2012 in Massachusetts where a guy named Patrick Carmy was arrested for disorderly conduct because he was flying around a paramotor on 9/11 and it freaked a bunch of people out. Paramotors weren't very big in 2012 apparently, so people saw this paramotor, this guy on the paramotor flying around above them on 9/11 and got a little worried and they called the police. The charges against Patrick Carmy ended up being dismissed after he paid a $50 fine. Doing a little bit more research on Google, I saw that a company and website called Carmy Corp had Patty listed as the executive producer. I don't know, it could be a weird coincidence. Stay with me here. Another weird coincidence that I came across online is a Byron Lesick and a Jared Lesick being named in a civil suit against them by the SEC for running some kind of stock scam, and they were ordered to pay back almost $195,000. My point behind this article is I don't really see any agency, if it's the same guy, hiring someone after they were involved in a big stock scam, moral turpitude and all. As I said, that could just be a weird coincidence too, but Byron Lesick and Jared Lesick being listed in the description of Patty's video, and then both those names, I'll say it now, those names being together in a litigation for some kind of stock scam, it's just, it set off some red flags in my head.
What do you think is a TV show?
Yes, I do. Anyways, in my personal opinion, I don't think he's a cop. Well, that's all I have for you fine people today. As I said, I'm not creating this video to throw shade at Patty or anything. I mean, he's got some entertaining stuff going on. It's not my cup of tea.
But I just don't think it's right doing all that and not telling people you're really not a cop. Everyone, if you want to help support this channel, you can do so at patreon.com/operator. You can head on over to twitch.tv/operator and subscribe using Amazon Prime, or you can hit up operator.com for some super sweet merch. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.
Shot fired! Shot down! Shoot! Shot fired, Ken. Shot fired, Ken. Ken, I need units now. Ken, he's fleeing in a vehicle at East Elm Steel. Looks like I got a wife female just got out. She's walking southbound off the steel. You good? I'm good. I'm good. Stay in your house. Yeah, get out of here. Hey! Come here! Get your hands up, too! Stay busy. I got the female walking for me. Put your hands up! Good boy. Negative. I was not hit my good boy. Yeah, put the bullet holes in it, so I'm good. Good boy. No injury. Keep your hands up. Who's that with you? Why did you pull a gun on me? What the hell is he doing? You don't need. Alright, Put that down. Do you have any weapons on you? Alright, I'm gonna put you in handcuffs because I don't know what I'm dealing with. Are you good? Are you okay? I'm good. You took off that way in the vehicle. So it's like the white, green, gray, that's the color. Sit down. Sit. Get out. Get out. It's a white, green, grayish, red and patchy color. The Hispanic male, got facial hair, wearing a hat. What kind of pants was he wearing? Tan pants. He had a black coat on pistol.
Here. So I've been trying to think of the best way to make a video like this for a while now, and there really is no best way to do it. Today we're going to get down and dirty and talk about a little bit of police misconduct. One thing I always promised to do when I got to the crime news stuff is to always report the truth and to try and be as unbiased as possible. I understand that I can be a little bit biased sometimes, or I may come off as biased when I'm explaining the dynamics of a shooting or something like that. But my ultimate goal here is to show everyone, hey, not all cops are bad. In order to do this, I believe it's important for us to go over police misconduct as well. For 3 years, I worked with about 120 sworn police officers, and in those 3 years, I only saw one instance of police misconduct. An officer that we had who we kind of suspected to join the police force just to be an informant or to infiltrate us, the local dope boys got really mad at his baby mama one night, and while in uniform, fired into her house a few times with his service pistol. He was arrested, fired, and charged with a felony. I never saw anyone plant guns, plant dope, file a false police report, lie on the report, none of that. It does happen though. I always get a lot of, well, don't I? You always go over the good cops, don't you go over the bad cops? And I have. I've made several videos about police officer misconduct. I'm not going to be the person who sits here and says, well, all cops are right all the time, they can do no wrong. Primarily because police officers are people, and people by nature are always vulnerable to corruption and greed and having too much power. We're going to start this off with a fresh new video coming out of Meridian, Mississippi that involves the Meridian Police Department and a shoplifter. I'm always hearing if there were good cops, then they would report the bad cops. Therefore, all cops are bad. Well, we're going to watch a video that shows exactly that. Good cops reporting a bad cop. How much do you hear that online when you say, well, not all cops are bad? You probably hear it quite a bit. Contrary to popular belief, cops do report cops. The video starts off with a police officer from the Meridian Police Department pulling over a suspected shoplifter. Officer Daniel Starks had tried to arrest the shoplifter when the shoplifter jumped in his van and made him about 50 yards before he decided it was best to pull over.
So I was just gone, store and color, operator welcome.
The Meridian officer who's closest to the shoplifter points his gun at him. The shoplifter stops his van. He gets out of the van. The officer puts his gun up. He puts his hands behind his back and he handcuffs him. It couldn't have gone any better. The guy's not even passively resisting. Awesome. Perfect. That is until Officer Daniel Starks pulls up. I'm guessing he was mad at the guy for getting away from him. He walks up, pushes the suspect, and then walks away. He returns to the patrol car, opens up the back door, walks up to the suspect, and it looks like he hits him in the face.
Thank you much, Michael. So, yeah, we're therefore, one out of it, you have time.
Then he draws out his taser and drive stuns the suspect in the fucking neck.
One of the two, don't stop. Number one, further, you'll maintain a strong in front of the gas station.
Come on, man.
It's shit like this that the activists get a hold of and spread around Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. This video is going to have several million views. But it's not over yet. The suspect looks like he's trying to collect himself after being drive stunned in the neck. So Officer Starks walks up and applies the pressure points to the suspect, trying to get him on his feet. This doesn't work, so Officer Starks pulls out his taser and points it at the guy's face.
Council J, Hotel 1, that's our claim. 44 minutes. What's good? Or is there going to be something from the heartbeat? We're going to be ready for a while, March 1st. Simple.
Reports are stating that some of the officers on scene reported exactly what happened to a supervisor, and Officer Starks was fired within a week. You know I'm all for people getting the justice that they deserve, but drive stunning a compliant shoplifter in the neck is pretty fucked up. You don't do shit like that. Not only does it violate his civil rights, it looks bad, very bad. Videos like this put so many other officers' lives in danger. The Meridian Police Department chief said to let this particular act or anything like this go away or get swept under the rug is not acceptable to not just this department, but as far as I'm concerned, to all law enforcement agencies. And I couldn't agree with him more. The chief also said that this could turn into criminal charges for Officer Starks if the shoplifter wishes to pursue them. All I can say about this is the policing isn't for everyone. Some people can't keep their cool. Some people actually get into that position so they can exploit their power. I can tell you though that it really doesn't happen as much as the internet would lead on. Another common statement that I hear is police officers are never punished for their actions or some kind of variation of that, and it's completely false. According to the Bowling Green State University Henry A. Wallace Police Crime Database, over 9,000 police officers were arrested and charged with crimes between 2005 and 2013 out of around 1,000,000 sworn police officers. The top 5 charges police officers who were arrested face are narcotics violation, aggravated assault, official misconduct, DUI, and simple assault. I'll leave a link to that database in the description below if you want to take a look at it. Most cops aren't just skating by doing a bunch of hood rat shit with their friends. They get caught. Take a look at the Baltimore Gun Task Force. Those dudes were running around doing some serious training day shit. They were stealing dope, they were selling dope, they were committing robberies, they were doing burglaries on houses. And now 8 of them have been arrested, charged, convicted, and each one of them faces up to 15 or more years in prison. Please don't get me wrong about this video. You know I'm the last person who try to demonize police officers as a whole. I just want everyone to understand that I understand police corruption does exist. There are so many good officers out there, and I promise you that they are the majority. By the time you see this video, I'm going to be over on my screen at twitch.tv/Scarlet Operator. Come on by. We're going to talk about some crime stuff. We can talk about some stuff I talked about in this video. I'd love to hear your questions, comments, and concerns. Everyone, please have a fantastic day.
But go back over this way and back up that way. How you doing? I'm alright, bro. Whoa. Boy, you talking to me with 20 kind of shirts on. That's not how the law works. No, and it's not stop 92. You take one crime off street? What crime? Yes. You're looking at our. Is that breaking the law, or is that just you don't want it? No, I want to know if you do wrong. But so that's not the law. That's the who are you? What? That's the you have to identify that. So, no, you have to look at them also. And you know that. How long have you been on this phone? How long? I do. You got any idea? No, I don't. I don't. And I don't think anything such as not only if I committed a crime. And I have to say it. And you should know that law. Like I'm surprised that you can be on the job and you don't know that law. I haven't committed a crime. Yeah. You're really, I'm gonna take a step back.
Second thing is, you're not gonna tell us what a woman is doing and not doing.
No, I'm just.
You're on our property.
This is
You're
public
looking at our
property.
vehicles.
It's public property,
So,
and my tax
no,
off
this is
pays
sheriff's
for it.
office property.
And it's
Belongs
public,
to the county. So if you wanna take pictures of the phone, you go there on the sidewalk.
which is public. So are you telling me that this is a public property? So
It's a private county property.
it's a private
If
county
we
property.
want to know who you are, then we have a right to find out who you are.
The tax off pays for the property. Yeah. So which means I have the right to do it.
You don't pay taxes.
Yes.
We pay taxes where you work at.
Yeah. I pay taxes.
You know where we work.
Because y'all off.
That's
right.
So
can you see how this is in circle work? So what you're saying is, tax off pay for this, but I'm not allowed to get it.
That ain't got nothing to do with it.
No, well, no, that's what he just said. That's what he just said always.
We have a right to investigate the girl on our property.
Can I have your name? Officer
No, I
McNeil?
can't.
Officer
You can't.
McNeil.
You're not gonna tell me your
Is
name.
that what you would tell the judge?
No, my name ain't my name.
Is that what you would tell the judge?
Yeah. Is that what you tell the judge?
I'm not aiming.
No, you take the first step.
Yeah.
You tell the judge.
So, are y'all trying to intimidate me to tell y'all who I am? I haven't broken the law. But I'd like to say no. I don't need any more friends, sir. I got a really close family. I want to take this thing because my constitution protected rights of anything I can see. Because I want to be obedient. But see, but then that's a personal request. That's a personal. It's not lawful. I haven't broken the law. And then,
It's like me going to a call that I have the right to do this.
this isn't my case. This is I can see
You
it.
want to do what you want to do with this.
But if I haven't broken the law, what's wrong with that?
Okay, so I can go do whatever I want.
If you haven't broken the law, you're free to go do whatever you want to do. And you should know that. How do you know that? If I'm not breaking the law,
You should know that.
what hassle am I getting?
You should be identify yourself as lawful.
If I've broken the law, you can't just walk up there.
You broke the law, man. You making stuff up.
What's the law?
man?
What's the stop and identify statute?
What's the stop and identify?
Yes, this isn't the stop and identify statute. It's not. I know this. I've been doing it for a long time. So what you're saying? If I don't give you my name, are you taking me to jail? If I don't give you my name, are you taking me to jail? Am I there? I'm just trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out my safety here. Y'all are really aggressive. No, it's not. How am I making it? Y'all want to know my name? I don't. I tell you what. I don't. I don't know. So that's the question. Since it's not personal, I mean, since it's not legal, it's personal. Can I have your address?
Not personal.
Can I have your address? No. Okay, well, I don't keep telling you. I don't have anything to hide. It's just my right to keep. It's just my right to know my thing. So if you know that, what do you ask me for my name? And then you that's it. Who's in charge? So you're threatening me with arrest because I'm not telling you my name. So why bring up my word arrest? Who's in charge? Who has higher rank? Your supervisor. That's your question. Are you? What I'm working. Are you detaining me? Thank you. So as I was getting back to you, y'all can try to intimidate someone else, please. Thank you. Oh, I will. Appreciate it, partner. Good luck. You said we'll figure it out. That's how you handle these college jobs. That's how you got to do it. You stand your ground. And these jokers really thought I was going to fool. They tried to tell me a whole bunch of lies with some legal ground behind it, and they were invalid. And I was going to walk in. Run. Here you go. Here you go.
This is a Fox News alert. The illegal immigrant accused of killing a California police officer has been captured, and we're learning this was not his first arrest. Good evening, I'm Brett there. The suspect was caught just a few hours ago near Bakersfield, California, after being on the run for 2 days. Investigators believe he's responsible for the murder of Newman police officer Ronald Singh, who migrated to the U.S. legally. In an emotional press conference late this afternoon, the Stanislaus County Sheriff said Singh's death could have been prevented. All this happening as we head into a long weekend with a stalemate in the fight over border security. We have Fox News coverage tonight. Ellison Barber is at the White House, where the president is threatening to close the U.S. border. Correspondent Peter Ducey is on Capitol Hill, where members of Congress are not. But we begin with national correspondent William Montanez, who's following all the latest developments from Los Angeles. Good evening, William.
Well, Brett, just hours ago, police confirmed the arrest of 33-year-old Gustavo Perez Arriaga, an illegal immigrant, confirmed gang member, and two-time convicted drunk driver with outstanding warrants. The California sheriff also confirmed the arrest of two other illegal immigrants, a brother and co-worker, who tried to cover up the whereabouts of Arriaga as he allegedly tried to flee to Mexico. But under aerial surveillance from Kern County detectives, intercepted Arriaga near Bakersfield, where he surrendered without incident. Arriaga is the Mexican national who entered the U.S. illegally in Arizona, wanted for killing 33-year-old Ron Singh, a 7-year junior police veteran who emigrated to the U.S. illegally from Egypt. Singh was married with a 5-month-old son and took this photo on Christmas Day. Just hours before, he and his canine partner stopped a possible drunk driver. Moments later, Singh radio shot fired, I'm dead. He died a short time later. Today, his brother Reggie thanked police for finding the alleged killer. He's not coming back. But there's a lot of people out there, and and a lot of law enforcement people that I don't know who work days and nights to raise this house.
Today in a news conference, the sheriff of Stanislaus County threw gasoline on the already red-hot immigration debate by calling Singh's death preventable, blaming the state's sanctuary law for prohibiting police from communicating with ICE about known and wanted felons. Let's go back to Ron, an immigrant. Immigrated here lawfully and legally to pursue his American dream. He achieved that goal. And his dream was taken from him. No, we shouldn't politicize it, but we have to have a conversation about restrictive legislation that puts our communities at risk.
You tie our hands and don't allow us to work with our federal partners and communicate with our federal partners about people that commit crimes and who are in this country illegally. We're going to have incidents like this.
Police arrested 3 more today for aiding and abetting and say they are helping prosecutors build a case against Arriaga. Arraignment likely next Wednesday. Singh's narcotics dog Sam, who is retired to live with his wife and child. Good.
try to get away from the cops, right there.
Are you off your officer right now? Are you off your right now? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? Okay, can I do it? You have a good day. Okay. Goodbye.
Oh, no! For what? I'm not a professional pilot. Video check that. Video check that shit. Everybody, yeah, no right to train. No.
How you doing? Officer Conway, how you doing today?
You have a name?
I do have a name. Am I being detained?
You're a witness to this.
I am a witness. So are you obligated to give me my personal
I'm
information?
requesting your ID. Are you giving your
No,
ID?
I'm not.
Any witness on that? Yeah. Oh, please got it all on video. Awesome.
That's not correct. Officer Conway did not arrive until after the incident had been underway, and neither did I.
And I've been advised by another officer, you have this on video, and she's advised us as well. So,
Well, you can, I do have my ID.
a subpoena for your video.
You can subpoena it if you can serve me properly with the subpoena.
That's great.
Where I need to go.
I need your ID.
Great. Okay, well, that's great. I'm not gonna give him, no.
I need to get your ID.
No, I don't want to give you my
You
ID.
have the evidence of what happened here.
I don't. I don't have to give you my ID.
You mind if I review the footage?
I do. It's my photo. I don't consent to search.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, I am not consenting to give you possession of my cell phone.
That's the evidence of what happened here.
That's not your evidence. It's my evidence.
What is your name?
I'm not telling you my name.
Okay, you're standing.
Are you just saying that
The hour is 7:09. We're at O'Farrell. We're at O'Farrell and Jones.
Correct. Yeah, I'm on my way to meet a friend.
Don't
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Well, it's not a thing for them.
Great. But don't touch me without my consent.
This gentleman has evidence of the proceedings that happened here with the fight with the officers. And we're going to attempt to try to get his information because he brings evidence regarding this case. Yeah, at this point, it would be an obstruction of justice.
You're going to charge me?
It's an obstruction of justice. You have evidence, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and charge me.
You have to speak to your ID.
Why? I don't care about my name. You guys are mistreating everybody. Why am I giving you my name the way you treat me?
I'm not telling you to talk about it.
Yes, I'm the
So you have evidence on your phone that I can't have.
You can give me a subpoena.
Jesus, phone, get his ID.
Give me a subpoena.
Sir, oh,
Yes.
I would like a copy of your identification so I may note it in the incident report regarding the.
You can note it in the incident report, but I don't have to give you my name.
How am I supposed to give you a subpoena that you asked for if I don't have your name?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. Would you like me to issue you a citation for obstruction?
Let me ask you a question. Am I free to go? You're detaining me on what basis?
You're such
On what? I'm not charging you. I'm not getting away. No. What you're doing is intimidating citizens from monitoring your behavior. Okay? So why am I not free to go? Why am I not free to go? I'm not holding any evidence. There's video cameras all around here. You're not gonna let me go?
Sir, stop yelling. I want to talk to you.
Okay, let's talk.
Hey,
I'm talking to you.
great.
Am I free to go?
Can you stop interrupting? I already answered your question.
Why have I been detained?
You want a subpoena, right?
I want to go meet my friend at the bar where I was on my way to. What I want to do is know why I'm detained.
You don't want to.
Why have I been detained, officer?
You want it.
Officer King. Wait, why have I been detained, officer?
Why? You said
Why
that
have I been detained? No. If you're trying to hold me here against my will, okay, give me a subpoena.
I would like your identification so we may note it in the incident report. If you feel that there's something untoward here, you should be in the incident.
I don't know what happened here. I feel that what's being untoward is my detention. Well, if you're not letting me go, why can't I go? I have no idea what happened. I didn't see how it started. I walked up, I took out my phone like a lot of other people, and now you're telling me I'm detained. I have a friend waiting for me over there. I'd like to go meet her.
But you don't want to provide your.
I don't want to participate in any kind of police prosecution. No.
We don't prosecute, sir. That's the district.
Okay, whatever. I don't want to participate. I want to go meet my friend. That's all I want to do. But you're telling me I'm detained. On what basis?
not going to consent to a search of my phone, nor am I going to sit here unless you tell me that I have to. When you're all you're surrounding me, I do not feel that I'm free to go right now. And you're telling me I'm not free to go, I can't leave. If I am free to go, I'm leaving. I'm across the street. That's the light. Am I free to go? One more time. Yeah, I'm going to walk away. I have the light. Thank you. Have a good night. Yeah.
You can't tell me who's wrong. You don't have a right to tell me who's wrong. I don't care telling you this is wrong. You can't tell me who's wrong. I believe it. It's freedom of speech. I understand that. You have to get the Constitution. You're supposed to uphold the Constitution. That's done. You guys forgot all about the fundamentals of this country. What's better than that? People that have victims, that's your job. There's no victim. I'm trying to protect my child. Yeah, you don't understand that. You look at me as a bad guy, don't help me do nothing. Don't worry about my bad. Don't worry about my bad. You here to help. Call. You are here to serve me. That's what you're here. You're not here to protect us. You're here to serve. That's it. You're supposed to win service time. You're not here to protect. You're not my personal fucking life. You know, you're here to serve me because taxpayers' dollars pay you. That's what you're here for. You're here to serve me. You understand that? Yeah. Yes, sir. Small things in the first place. My GPA was 4.0, 4.79. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm just going everywhere. I'm not trying to do business. Oh, because you got, because you're a police officer and I don't have a job that makes you smarter than me. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Not bad. So like in that military like sand. Yep. Okay, I don't consent to any searches. I'm not gonna search it. I don't consent to any seizures either. Okay. Okay. What crime am I suspected of committing? And you just pointed that gun at me. When I was loaded, just so you know, you twisted it, pointed it right at me. Before you were at the fly, you pointed it right at my legs. That's not illegal. Can I have my gun back and get moving along? Use your ID, and then we'll get more to it. What crime do you suspect me of committing? I got to what's the call about guy here? Yep, that's a report of illegal activity. What crime do you suspect me of committing? In order to stop me, you have to suspect me of a crime. Can you get your supervisor here? He's on the way. Okay, thank you. Like I said, before you start, public safety issue. So I'm here to make sure everyone's all set. You're all set. Okay, so no, sir. Unless you are issuing a summons as 17A, 15A, requires, then yep. Do you suspect me of being a felon? I don't know. Okay, if you don't suspect me of being a felon, I would like my gun back and I would like to see it on my way. In order to carry guns, you're not allowed to be a felon. Correct, but unless you suspect me of being a felon, there's no reason for you to stop me. There is reason. Unless you suspect me of a crime, as Terry v. Ohio, Delaware v. Prouse, requires you to have a suspicion of crime before you detain an individual. Brown v. Texas does not allow you to stop an individual and demand their ID. Can I get your first name? Like, no. No, I'm not doing that type of guy.
sorry, sir, but for my own protection, I would rather not give you anything because any name I give you is going to go in the police report about this incident. There's a police log generated for every call. Yep. And unless you have a reasonable suspicion that I'm committing a crime, you can't detain me. I have to be free to leave. It has to be a consensual encounter.
You were walking down on the street carrying a gun.
Yes. Is that illegal? Do you suspect me of committing a crime? Do you suspect me of carrying a crime and committing a crime, yes or no? Suspenders. Keep my pants up. Yeah, it's a buckle for the suspenders. Yep. Illegal common practice. Yep. Is that the only reason why you stopped me? That I'm carrying a gun. Okay. In that case, I want you to refer you to DeBerry v. U.S. DeBerry v. U.S. says that a firearm, where legally carried, cannot be the only cause for reasonable suspicion for a stop. Am I free to go? Okay. Can I have my gun back? Yeah. Thank you.
Freedom fighters. In this day and age, we as cop watchers are finding more and more incidents of police violating the rights of the people. Some even go as far as antagonizing citizens, accused of getting them to make drastic mistakes that can be devastating for all involved. The video you're about ready to see is one of many examples that are out there. Some stories have very bad endings, but some have a silver lining. With that said, here's the video.
Well, apparently this is harassment. You're saying for my face. That's some real harassment right there, bro. Record it, bro. Go ahead. Why are you harassing me? What am I doing to you? Okay, let's just put a name in there. Stop your hands off. Stop hands off. Stop hands off. What is stop? Why are you doing that? That's right there. Who's touching you? Who's touching you? You're in front of me. You're in my personal space. What do you mean? Yes, I do. It's my constitutional. Why do you have my own personal space? What do you mean I have no personal space? Hands off. No, stand up. You're listening to the right thing. You know what that is? And you need to fucking go back fast. Retard. You need to turn around. For what? Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Oh, shit. Hey, what am I doing?
There's no shock to anyone as to why this officer you see in this video was terminated by the Denver Hot Springs Police Department. The officer was originally under investigation for possibly blocking his body cam during the arrest. However, Chief Dale said that he's confident that he was not blocking the camera. The actions of this officer is very common with hot-headed cops out there, and this is why it's very important to always film every encounter. After watching this video, what are some of the things that you find wrong that is being done by these police officers? Comment your answers down below. Freedom fighters, I want to say this. I find this to be a win for the movement. It's always a good thing when police officers are being held accountable for their actions. However, my only question lies, and that is, why didn't the other officers step in when they knew he was wrong? Until next time, be safe, be vigilant,